The Out There channel, Robert and Paul.
Please sub and share.
Searching for the truth. UFOs, aliens, greys and ufology. Real images, real stories, real videos, real cases, researched and investigated by professionals in the field and cutting-edge discoveries. Multiple witnesses, abduction accounts brought to you by Team The Out There channel. Good to be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
Yo. Had a few little niggles. I don't know what's going on sometimes. The men in black are everywhere. So I don't know who's going to join us today, but I did broadcast out there. Should be a good one, like the last one. Some interesting stuff I found a long time ago. Well, was given a long time ago, but I just haven't had time to present it. To do with artificial intelligence and how dangerous it can get, because now they're moving from machine to bio machines. So we'll cover that in a minute. What have I forgot to do? Probably need Edge today to read out some stuff. And look, UFO Stalker still down. How useless are they? If they updated the images at all, let's see, just refresh it. The Out There channel. Open image in new tab. Forbidden! But we found a way around it. If you go copy image link, then open it in the new tab, that works. So it tells me they're doing some strange redirection, which they haven't set it up to be allowed on their server. They've rejected it from one site to another. As you see, they're clamping down on that, stop virus makers. So as you can see, we can actually get to those images now. So we should actually do a MUFON one, long as we can get to the images. It's going to be slower though. But these, looks like the new case is coming in, isn't it? The last one was about kids seeing. Yeah, oh no, it's still old stuff. Where's all the new stuff? So they haven't updated it. Anyway, it turns out that 8-year-old kid was actually filming birds. Not Tic Tac. How it ends up in MUFON database from the parent, I don't know. Probably nagged the parents. Yeah, my 8-year-old daughter. Tic Tac shaped objects with birds high up in the sky. Oh dear. So yeah, have to come back to that. MUFON might get their shit together someday. We've got one join us. I better post up the side thing as well. Hello, who's out there? We can do a side chat too if you want to join me on. To talk about what I'm going to present if you want to. It's funny, when you do a premiere, you can't post links. Not even if you're the owner. I've tried. Google's got lots of errors. I don't know who checks this system, but they're just as bad as MUFON at the moment. Skywatch is on hold, having a wee bit of fun dealing with Chinese attitudes with AliExpress. Some woman claimed I gave her the wrong address, and yet it's the same address it's been the same address all along for thousands of items from other people on the same site. And what she did is she wrote out a label, didn't put any commas in between the street address and the suburb, and she blamed me. And then she wanted to charge me again for resending it. So it took a month to get here, then they sent it all the way back. So I haven't got my strap in, and I've ordered some new stuff, and I reckon it's going to take 2 months to come. That's ridiculous. I hope that's not true. So yeah, what are we doing today? Sky Chat, I better update that. So we're talking about real Terminators. Well, Terminator robots. Using stem cells from humans. Not only that, they're using brain cells from the first ancient men. I'll go over it in a minute. So we're up to live chat report 19, which means there's no set time. I'll keep on going until I'm sort of worn out. And we'll see how much we can do. So I'll just post it down there. And we should be good to go. So I've got a couple of likes there. So people drop by, but they're not going to stay and watch. Which is a bit unfortunate. So we want people to be interactive on these shows. See, I've just got the email message. That means everybody must have got email message as well by now. So we'll probably look over some debunks as well, but we'll start off with an interesting topic first, and then we'll look at the garbage. Where's Blue Chicken lately? We haven't played the Blue Chicken effect. UFO jets, is that still working? Let's just check. Yeah, there we go. So if humans are already taking brain cells and train it to play ping pong and all sorts of stuff and to control robots, it makes you wonder if aliens could be also creatures sent out into space that don't need food to explore and bring back data to the home world. So all of it's connected, right? So if we can do it, I'm pretty sure aliens would be sending out alien greys, which may be bio-robots, but according to the high school aerial school girls, that's not the case, because some information has come out to say that they weren't all identical. Some had pot bellies, like their food a wee bit more than others. So that kind of means that they might actually be true living creatures. and not by robots. It doesn't look like anyone's going to join me. K Sarah. Alright, talking about K Sarah, there's a new series on called From, which is from the maker of Lost series. You might remember that series was so frustrating because you never got any answers from it, from TV series. So basically this is also about portals. So people are driving along, suddenly end up in this place, which could be like another multiverse with identical planet, but strange creatures that can shapeshift, like skinwalkers, I guess. So yeah, where is it from TV series? It's got a black dude in charge. He also got trapped there. It's really it's not too woke at the moment, but there is bisexual in it now. So yeah, it's heading to wokeness. So I'll just post a link to that. Let's go and check it out. You'll probably get addicted to it. Let's see where it's leading. But these creatures that shape form don't pass a threshold because they've got some sort of talisman hanging in the window, which is meant to create a force field. But if you take that down or do something stupid, like open the door and invite them in, because they pretend to be friends, game over, man. Game over. So that's probably one of the better series, apart from Walking Dead, which I still watch and still enjoy, even though I know it's kind of ridiculous, because they don't explain how decaying bodies can actually move limbs. So I would have been more inclined to make it more realistic, feasible myself if I was the producer, where the virus actually produces its own heart connected to the brain, which they've got to kill. Hey Michael, I was wondering if you're going to come on, because it is in your time zone. Do you want to come on talk on the side chat? You can. Again, leave it up to you if you want to. But yeah, I was just talking about these new shows I've been watching in Walking Dead. So I'm not sure how long you've been there, but worth checking out that series there. If you liked the Lost series and 24, is that the same director? I never got into 24. I thought, nah, I'm not going to get suckered into another series, and here I am watching another one from him, so I know it's going to frustrate the hell out of me. So it's still got a fairly high rating here, so that's pretty good. It's going to make lots of money from that. So yeah, I got a bit of stuff here to go over, which could be scary future. So I wondered when they were going to do this, because they can't replicate the human brain yet, but they could somehow interface human brain cells to the machine, right? And you can then train it, and so you can have a bio machine, and that's basically what they're doing now. So if we're doing that as humans in labs, and how long has the military been doing it? How long has Russia been doing it? So could these tic-tac drones actually be human technology. Some would say from time travel or from the future. But it's possible they could be playing around with this new machine artificial intelligence. It's kind of scary, but we go over it bit by bit. I might have to read out some of it. And then we'll look at the regular debunking stuff. And Bear Daily, son's birthday tonight. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure how long I'm going to take to go over this. Last a minute slapped together. Yeah. So, first article. Here we go. Exclusive. How'd you say that one? Neanderthal mini brains grown in a dish. I always have trouble with that word. How do we say that again? Neanderthal. Sometimes English can be a curse. Read and select and speak. Okay, let's see if it works. Nope, that stopped working. Since I've updated, stuff don't work anymore. Kind of stupid. I used to have a thing that used to work. But anyway, you can read it there. This is why I will probably post links to the other program. This one. Probably I should have copied them all there to start with. Foresight. There we go. This will work. Read aloud. Where is it? There we go.
Mini brains grown in dish.
It didn't say it. I had it selected, didn't I? The computer decided, no, I'm not going to say that. Men in Black have ticked some in box.
Neanderthal mini brains grown in dish.
Neanderthal.
Human stem cells with a gene from our extinct relative produce brain organoids that differ in appearance and behavior. By John Cohen.
Okay, what year was this? I've started hearing about what they were doing back in 2018, and sure enough it is. So it's been around for a while, and I'm just surprised no one's actually brought it up before. Now I'm seeing what they've been doing with it. It's kind of scary. So there they are, growing the early ape brain. So it makes you wonder, are we the aliens from UFOs coming back to Earth to get DNA before they stuffed it up with this sort of stuff in the lab? You've heard of Elon Musk talking about there needs to be some controls on this type of research, stem cells, and mixing DNA with animals and all that sort of stuff. What do we got now? We got a virus that was okay in bats. They mucked around with it, so now it can be transferable to any other animal. I think even dogs can get it, but it's not lethal yet, I don't think. Humans, we know about now. So you've heard about the Korean War and the cover-up of the biolabs over there that are funded by America. So is that really what's going on there? There's another conspiracy. So just keep your ears open on that sort of stuff. Truth Factory put out something about it all. She's the one of the talking cats. I have a talking grey alien, and she has a talking grey cat. Go and sub to her. She's back again. She was an ex-school teacher, and she does some amazing research and puts together these episodes, which must take her all week to do it, I'd say. Her opening's quite interesting. She's dusting off her old Apple II computer, I think it is, Apple II. With the text going across the screen saying she's booting up. So yeah, I haven't got a link to her, but you should be able to find her. And there's other people that's using similar names though to try and get traffic to their site. So just be aware of that. But anyway, brain organoids. Have you heard of that word before? Yeah, it's funny. Okay, so let's just read out a chunk of this, I guess, and go from there.
Until now, researchers wanting to understand the Neanderthal brain and how it differed from our own had to study a void. The best insights into the neurology of our mysterious, extinct relatives came from analyzing the shape and volume of the spaces inside their fossilized skulls. But a recent marriage of three hot fields, ancient DNA, the genome editor CRISPR, and organoids built from stem cells, offers a provocative, if very preliminary, new option. At least 2 research teams are engineering stem cells to include Neanderthal genes and growing them into mini-brains that reflect the influence of that ancient DNA.
Scary stuff.
None of this work has been published, but Alison Muotri, a geneticist at the University of California, San Diego, UCSD, School of Medicine, described his group's Neanderthal organoids for the first time this month at a UCSD conference called Imagination and Human Evolution. His team has coaxed stem cells endowed with Neanderthal DNA into pea-sized masses that mimic the cortex, the outer layer of real brains. Compared with cortical mini-brains made with typical human cells, the Neanderthal organoids have a different shape and differences in their neuronal networks, including some that may have influenced the species' ability to socialize. We're trying to recreate Neanderthal minds, Muotri says. I'm a little envious, says Todd Pruce, a neuroanatomist at Emory University's Yerkes National Primate Research Center in Atlanta, who is retiring just as this approach to studying brain evolution takes hold. It's still a long haul to get from organoids to real brains, but if the technique can be developed enough to give us more information about normal tissue structure, then you've got something that's probably very useful.
So you can see that these guys were looking at it to maybe understand the human brain, how it developed over millions of years, and maybe pull it apart so you can actually use it in computer technology even. But also to help mental cases, I guess. Diseases, brain dysfunctions, that sort of stuff. So maybe there was a good cause, but you can see how this can be militarized. Make a whole bunch of robots with guns and train them to recognize who to kill. That could be very scary. So yeah, so if the Americans are doing this, I'm pretty sure other countries will be doing it. China, especially with the human rights aspect of it all. We won't say too much because we can probably get ads removed and all that sort of bullshit. But you can see how they'd be experimenting on prisoner brains. Use them as targets like the Squid Game. So yeah, imagination can run wild. I think it's possible that it could be even happening, using prisoners for this kind of scary research, though. And also target practice. Run! What was that on Robot Cop? Was it one of the movies where they're using humans inside machines after they were killed or whatever it was, but their brains were still viable and could be reprogrammed.
Useful. Compared with brain organoids grown from ordinary human cells, top, those with a Neanderthal gene variant, bottom, differ in appearance and behavior. Alison Muotri. Svante Pabo, director of the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, Germany, expects the work to draw skepticism because it's so difficult to figure out which genetic differences are functionally relevant, and the organoids only represent the early stage of brain development. Organoids are far from being able to tell us how adult brains function, says Pabo, who led the team that deciphered the Neanderthal genome by rescuing DNA from their bones. His group has also started to...
This sounds like a really good script for a movie, doesn't it? But it does sound a bit like the intro of the Terminator movie. Remember when they're going back in time where he was studying brain cells and all that?
Started to make organoids with Neanderthal brain genes, but he stresses that the technique can introduce unintended mutations. There are lots of control experiments to do, and then I'm quite hopeful we'll overcome those doubts, says Pabo, who plans to compare Neanderthal brain organoids to those made from chimpanzee or modern human cells. Muotri focused on one of approximately 200 protein-coding genes that differ between Neanderthals and modern humans. Known as
won't
Novo...
read out too much, as we'll be here forever. These articles go on a bit, as you can see. So that's 2018, and it's probably the first time you've even heard of this. Mini brains. But you can Google it and you can find a whole heap of stuff on it. So, the start. The start of the Terminator. Okay, and we get the next link, so we can close that one down. And the next one is from The Guardian, if it will let us get there. Scientists to grow mini brains using Neanderthal DNA. So that's what they want to do. They want to take a make a mini brain of one of these guys. Must admit, they do kind of look Aboriginal, don't they? With the forehead. Apparently, Aborigines have really thick skulls at the front, and if people have tried to headbang them to knock them out. You know how you can knock people out by whacking their head at the front. Well, you can't do it with Aboriginals in Australia. But they have a really bad problem. They're not really good with alcohol. So I suppose this just verifies what was going on. Let's see, what year number was this one? Also around about the same time. I'm not sure if there's any extra information here at all that we need to look at. Okay, I'll just post a link to that one too. So that one's really just a backup link, just to prove that it's not fake news, unless everybody's promoting it, of course. But it sounds legit to me, because as we progress in time, you'll see. What's the next link? Okay, so here's another one. It's a wee bit further on. So I'm not sure if they've managed to do anything further in the workings of the human brain. And we've got nice 3D rendering going on here. So it's funny how the head is a lot bigger, like Alien Greys there, isn't it? The ancient men, compared to human brain, which has actually got smaller by the looks of it. The forehead's got higher frontal lobe stuff, communication side of things, isn't it? Speech. So they're saying that this planet was seeded by alien greys or aliens. I'm not too sure on that. There's no proof of it, is there, at the moment? But it doesn't mean something won't be found, I guess. So I'm we'll just skim it here and just see if there's any. So they're talking about a draft back in 2010 here. They've known that they interbred with anatomical modern humans. 10 years ago, I was teaching that there was little or no inbreeding. And now we know that it was quite frequent. Well, that's humans for you, isn't it? Look at USA, it's got a few inbreds there. What else we got? Shape of things to come. Yeah, that's what scares the crap out of us. Researchers cannot study the brains, which we've already heard about directly. Species thought it had been extinct around 40,000 years. Soft tissue doesn't fossilize well, but from preserved skulls, scientists have been able to infer that adult Neanderthals had brains of a similar volume to those of modern humans. Actually, I'd say their brain was bigger because we just looked at it. With more elongated, less cubular shape. Globular. Finding out when this anatomical difference becomes apparent during brain development. Now that's why I get it to read out. I hate reading science papers because I like to use all fancy words and stuff, you know. And of course my eyesight's not the best as well. So, we already know that from that first article, really. Cross-off changes. This article's probably the nicer one. Okay, so this one even includes the first robot using mini brain. But I got some more articles on it. So, do they make it too summarized here? Let's see if we can get it to read out some of it anyway. So this was a year later, and already starting to stick it on robots. Danger, danger. Do you think that's very wise? Maybe keep it in a jar and connect it to a voice box and see if it talks to you. And connect it to a robot arm that can't do much apart from play chess against you or something, you know. Don't go any further than that. Don't give it legs. Don't connect it to the internet. There's a few sci-fis like that already. Where it learns to take over the internet and move its intelligence across. Yeah, so let's start from here. The changes.
The cross of changes.
Yeah, keep on going. Right back. It's not going to do it. Do we double click it? Oh, that sucks.
Regardless of when the differences develop, the distinct brain cases of adult modern humans and Neanderthals offer a tool wit.
Oh, come on. It worked last time. Perfectly. Why is it not doing it on this page? It's got to be a way. Well, I'll just select it all then.
The cross of changes.
Yeah, go on.
Regardless of when the differences develop, the distinct brain cases of adult modern humans and Neanderthals offer a tool with which to tease out genes involved in brain development. By combining data on these anatomical differences with information from Neanderthal genetic fragments that are scattered throughout the genomes of people of non-African descent, researchers can find brain-related genes that changed after the two species diverged, and can therefore distinguish modern humans from Neanderthals. Studying the effects of Neanderthal gene variants in modern people is a powerful model system, explains Chet Sherwood, an anthropologist working on evolutionary neuroscience at the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Our genetic background and overall biology resembles them more than other possible models. The trick is to identify Neanderthal gene fragments that correlate with a difference in anatomy, such as brain case shape. This reveals genes that influence the trait. Guns started by studying magnetic resonance images of the brains of modern Europeans, which vary in their globularity. It's a very subtle shift, nothing you would notice, he says. There's nobody alive today that has a brain as elongated as a Neanderthal's. Next, Guns created a score to quantify the globularity of each scanned brain. He then identified gene variants that differed with the score, which revealed brain-related genes that would probably have differed between Neanderthals and modern humans. Brain organoids are capable of controlling walking robots in the lab credit, Muotri Lab/UC San Diego. The technique led Guns and his team to two genes in mice, one known to affect neurogenesis in the putamen and another that influences myelination in the cerebellum, both regions of the brain involved in movement. Neither gene had previously been linked to brain evolution.
Hey, Caesar.
The differences between the modern human and Neanderthal versions of these genes are likely to alter their expression. Of course, these genes are just part of the picture. Guns stresses that they probably play only a small part in brain development. We're not trying to argue that these are the two genes that turn you into a modern human, he says. Researchers in the United States are also using the Neanderthal heritage of Europeans to investigate the modern human brain. They tested whether the overall amount of Neanderthal DNA that a person carries is correlated to their skull shape 5. And found
I thought
not
they were
only
going to talk about the robot, but they're not really, are they? Ghosts in the brain. Genes that Guns uncovered. Ugh. Is it alien DNA? Well, let's have a read of that one.
the ghost in the brain. The genes that Guns uncovered act too late in brain development to be studied in brain organoids, which recapitulate only the early stages. But, equipped with the gene-editing tool CRISPR-Cas9 and a copy of the Neanderthal genome, researchers are using brain organoids to study other genes that changed during the evolution of modern humans. The strategy is akin to intentionally substituting an ingredient in a recipe, the outcome of adding a Neanderthal variant of a gene to an otherwise modern human recipe can teach us about the contribution of the original gene.
I don't know, it sounds a bit risky to me. Imagine if they were doing that in Ukraine, a biolab, right? And the Russians now got their hands on it. What's going to come in the future? So now we got viruses, and we're talking about using RNA to vaccinate ourselves, and people are talking about all the side effects that you're getting from people feeling fatigued to itchy toes is a new one. Itchy toes, they call it pinky toe, which I've actually got. So I'm just wondering what illnesses I've got recently is related to the vaccination process. Or even the virus going around. They're claiming it's to do with the virus, but it could be the vaccination. Also got this nagging little cough that won't go away, and out of breath, which are all sorts of related long side effects of all this current stuff that's going on in the world. So yeah, now they're mucking around with this sort of stuff here for many years. At the same time, they're mucking around with the bat virus. They're crazy. And of course, they're trying to hide it now. Fauci knew all about it, but they never told President Trump about it. And he's still in power. Why is he still in power, this guy? He should be imprisoned. Experimented on dogs, all sorts of animals illegally overseas because they can get away with it over there. Of course, we're not allowed to say that because Google doesn't like the truth, right? There's lots of things I could say, but I'm hampered, especially using YouTube. So yeah. But you can see this is kind of scary to me when I'm reading all this. And it's been going for what, 6 years now? 18, 19, 20, 21, no, 4 years I mean. Might even been going longer, we just don't know. So yeah, it's pretty much talking about the same thing again. But they just found some more things out. The ghost in the brain sort of thing. DNA, RNA. So remember, I at school developed a artificial intelligence program on Apple II of all things that actually could self-learn. Most of the code was to break down English sentences that someone could enter in, so they could just type an English sentence like they're talking to it. And it could work out whether it was a question, a statement, or fact, and it would store it in its own database, in its own compressed version that I was using. And then it was actually object-orientated coding that I was doing, but I didn't know that was going to be a buzzword in 10 years' time. But it was actually, you could tell it what a dog is. I've actually got an example of a cut-down version on a newer computer that I tried to port across from the Apple II. But yeah, it wasn't as good as the Apple II version because it had more machine code that I wrote that processed it pretty fast, considering it was an 8-bit machine. It certainly impressed the teachers at the time anyway. So you could actually teach it stuff like you could type in a list of car names and associate car parts with car names, and it would link it all together. And then you could ask it to do a quiz, like you could say, quiz me on all the parts of a wheel, say, of this type of car, and it would actually give a quiz based on information it learnt. And of course, it was based on that it was meant to be like a baby brain. You got to remember, I was only in the teens when I was writing this at school, and I was getting all this code and ideas in dreams. And I was writing down all this complex binary pattern matching maths. If I look at it now, as I've sort of forgotten about it, I can't understand what I did in the past and where I was, and I've thrown away my working books. But basically what Google Assistant is doing now, where it recognises what you're saying, is the sort of thing I was getting up to. because we didn't have speech and analysis on Apple IIs. It doesn't have the processing capability, let alone the RAM. I think it was like 48K, wasn't it? So I didn't actually port it across to PC. I went to university. PCs were sort of coming out new back then, and of course life catches up to you. End up working for money and all that sort of stuff, and then going to university and all that sort of stuff. Working and using the money to fund university. In my country, it's easy because it's not so expensive, unlike America, which is crazy. Yeah, so I did actually try to show some people working in university to see if they were interested in what I was doing. And they said I programmed it. I said, no, I've only programmed it and understand basic English. It actually will learn. You know, I built some basic ones in, like when you said hello, it would say, if it was a greeting, then just repeat this. But there was a place, section in there where it would work out, if it was a question, then it would actually sift through what it's learnt and assemble a reply. It was quite complex anyway, but yeah. Back then we didn't have a computer to show them. I didn't have the emulator up and running, and I didn't have it ported across. But yeah, I don't know if he understood what I was doing, but too bad, I suppose. I did actually give it out free, the cut down version free on a magazine of my old 8-bit micro, which was based on Spectrum. Sinclair. So I sent it to UK. So wherever anyone from the UK were started looking at what I was doing, and actually went to work for Google and got the idea of doing English analysis and then converting it to artificial intelligence. I don't know. You never know how you influence people. But yeah, I think my best mate, he's a multi-millionaire now, and I'm not. Well, I suppose he's a millionaire. He's finding it a bit tough at the moment. He makes his money online, but yeah, he didn't offer me a job though to work with him or whatever. But I suppose it's best that to keep your friends, you don't work together anyway. You always end up splitting up over money or IP or and all that sort of stuff anyway. But yeah, he was amazed at what I was doing at school. He was actually 3 years below me at school, but he was interested in computers, and I ran the little computer club there. So he used to come along, and while I was looking after the computers for the school hobby room, I would be programming this stuff that I was working on and just demonstrating it. But I managed to get speech going on the Apple, even though it was only 4-bit speech. It sounded really distorted, like through a CB, but yeah, I was going to see if I could add in speech to it, but then I ran out of memory. So yeah, we're sort of limited by the technology back then. We got Blue Chicken in the house, and me blabbing on here about my past. I suppose Jack Valet worked on similar projects. Maybe him and I were sort of connected into the ether even, who knows. And spooky action at a distance. So just catch up on the thing. Oh, we got Blue Chicken. I was just saying that we haven't seen Blue Chicken in ages, and we haven't played the emanation, so we got to do the emanation. Here we go. Yeah, it's doing a kung fu. Go on. And no sitting on my tripod, Blue Chicken. Is he still around? You need your own service for what? For doing research now. Thanks, man. No problem. Shutting up, Blue. Is he talking too much in the side chat, is he? Let me just have a look. So today we're talking about the development of bio brains, they call it mini brains, into robot technology, which is kind of scary. Thanks, Canadian truckers. Yes, they got a raw deal, didn't they? But at least someone had the backbone to stand up against governments. Even New Zealand now has going to come out Wednesday and drop all this mandate stuff, which will be good. I hate the masks, I really do. Deep red tape. Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff we can say online anymore without being censored. Even though it's true. A year later, it comes out and they can't stop it. You know, there was a lot of truth in elections and it got suppressed, and now it's starting to come out now. Biden laptop. Ring, ring, ring. You got to remember, a lot of people lost their channels even if they mentioned that. But my channel is being suppressed. As you can see, that Google keeps taking away subs and everyone else is going up. Well, apart from brand new Tube. Oh, well, it went up one, I guess. Brand new Tube, I think we're at maximum of people that actually like the truth. Everyone else likes fantasy that the earth is flat, and despite that, they'll be flying around in space before they did, probably. Might get cheap enough, who knows. $500 to the moon base. Still got programs. I've still got the program on emulator. I did it on a live show. I did a recap because I was using, back in the old days, crappy Google's, what do you call it? Forgetting the name of it now. Hangouts. I was using Hangouts on air, which is their version of live, what do you call it? Streamlabs or whatever it's called. StreamYard. Which it wasn't any good, and they lowered the bitrate so much that you couldn't even read the font on the screen. You know, the font here is all corrupted. But yeah, I have got the emulator and my program saved on a emulated floppy disk, and I show you on a program. One night I did it. I thought I'll just do a recap of some of the old stuff I wrote back in the old days, and you'll be able to find it here if you scroll down a few hundred episodes. Right, they're starting to put shorts up now. Okay, I got a couple of shorts there. And guess what? YouTube seems to keep my subs between 2,500. So yeah, wonder if we can search for it. I'll post it in the site so you can watch it later. It'd be called artificial intelligence, maybe. Like I said, it's really cut down to what I had working. Here we go, here. AI, artificial intelligence plus music. So, I can't remember what I did there. I think I did my demonstration using the emulator. And then I started mucking around with that Music Jam software, was it? Base skills, I suppose. So running the emulator here. Well, it looks like it should be. Which uses a structural basic and machine code Z80 CPU. And you could load an emulated floppy disk of programs and run them on screen, emulated. It's amazing how much you can do to make it so much faster on new equipment now. Even the emulator, the artificial intelligence was running almost in real time with replies back. Normally it would take a minute to process on the old computers. So I did all these different programs I wrote, 3D mazes thing. You can see it's drawn it in BASIC, but you got to remember this is all in BASIC. There's no way to look over top. So if I was creates those 3D maze and you walk around in it, which is quite amazing what you could do back then. North in the sun's afternoon, I guess. So what it does is it create a random maze. This is one of my programs. And then it would let you enter it and walk around. And yeah, I just sold the software in UK for £5, you know. I sold a few copies while I was at university back then. So here's the artificial intelligence going. I did find some bugs in it, which didn't exist in the Apple II one, but it did exist in this one. So I asked it to dump what it knew. I think it was. I told it to tell me everything about dog, and this is what it's stored in its brain, basically. A dog can be black in colour. A dog has 4 legs. A dog is an animal. And it's connecting the dog with these attributes. But yeah, you got to remember that's going back to really old computers. So it was actually learns what you tell it. So you could teach it a load of nonsense, right? So you could pretend to be Tyler Clockner and tell people that this is a UFO when it's totally not, and this would believe it. So that's the sort of thing I was working on as fun at school. And I had to do boring stuff like physics and chemistry and mathematics. And I wanted to go and code my artificial intelligence up instead. But I started getting back on the grades, and I had to drop it. And my parents were locking up my computer, so I couldn't work on it. Which is strange, because I had it all in my head. And it's quite easy to forget stuff. And in the end, I just got over with the school stuff and passed it with B plus or A's or whatever, and then I went back to finishing it off. So yeah, I was supposed to link to it then. I think I was doing the music stuff after this. Let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. I was mucking around with the music maker that you can get free with Windows 10.
We like it. I like it.
So I was creating all that using the samples and stuff, right? You can see you can do really professional stuff with a really simple interface without actually knowing any music. So you can do short samples after each other. Okay, so I was actually learning on the fly there. It's the first time me using it. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, you'll enjoy the episodes. So you've probably heard some of that music on one of my older intros. So there you go, that's where I was making it. In the beginning, there was darkness. Anyway, I'm just too clever for my own good, I guess. Let's say AI, but I find it fun. Most people would find it really over top of their heads. AI and music is what I was interested in, really. Because I'm all sausage fingers, and I struggle to play on the piano, and I'm self-taught music, by the way. I did some music things at school, but I never played the piano, and I tried to learn guitar, and I just couldn't do it. Maybe it's the teacher that you get, I don't know. Maybe my guitar was a piece of crap, I don't know. But when I got into the piano, I thought, well, this is where I should have started. Now I'm starting to get it, and you can start to see the keys were mathematical and a lot easier on the fingers. So yeah, you can have a watch of that after this episode, if I can carry on with it. So where did we get to? Did I post that one? I think I did, didn't I? And thanks for sharing your joy. Yeah, well, it is joy, you know. Life is about figuring out stuff and make it your skills benefit other people, or get people thinking outside the box. Although, if I was in artificial research and they're mucking around brains like they are in these articles, I probably would have said no. That's a step too far now. Unless there's some proper restrictions. But there's a lot of things that scientists sort of worry about. You know how the people made the atomic bomb, they regret it afterwards. Because they see that it's going to be used for destruction. So, yeah, killing lots of people. And now that sort of hangs over our head all the time, with Russia threatening to use nuclear weapons and all that sort of stuff now. Oh, well, my grandma had piano we could play on. I was figuring, do I dare my ear? You're talking about Sound of Music, I think. What were the great songs back then? Mary Poppins was popular with the kids. Great Energy. Yeah, I liked energy music when it came out, because it was all synthesizers. I was big into synthesizers because, again, it's electronic music. You should have seen what I was doing with my old synthesizer, hooking it up to the computer with all these wires and things before MIDI was invented. It was fun days, I tell you. And it's not that long ago, really. Back in the 90s was the early MIDI days. Started rolling out. Yeah, the hate's gonna end. Yeah. Yes. Old jazz. Yeah. What's his name? Louis Armstrong, that's what. No, I was more into German and the UK and other countries. Some good artists that were into synthesizers. Have you heard of Yazoo? They were quite a good band. They were gay, I think. But they're really, really good songs they used to make. And then Alison Moyet joined them. And she sounded very much like the lead singer, actually. But yeah, I really loved them, and I started playing it, and Dad loved them as well. Then they were called Erasure when Alison Moyet left. and they're still doing fairly good stuff and doing a lot of concerts in Germany, I think. So probably Plex may even have seen it, because he's a security guy for these large events that happen with musics, concerts. So I'm not sure if he's around, but it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Plex. I forgot to mention it. He's now 53. But he's in charge of 50 people for security for large events like football matches and musicals and all that sort of stuff. And he's now the administrator of our Discord group. Trying to get him to come on the side chat to chat though. And also we've got Jasper. He might join us. They wrote about their English not being so good, but the English is perfectly fine from what I've seen. So, next one. Did we get this one? Scientists insert Neanderthal gene into lab-grown mini-brains. 2021. So we got progress in a year now. Probably need to read out some of that one. The group I like at the moment still is Mike Marine. And that's what I said is our theme music for the Discord for our group is Don't Talk to the Snake. I actually did a episode with it slowed down and putting up images of the snakes in ufology, the snake oil salesman. So you can find that if you want to. Great lyrics and great synthesizer stuff. There's also Koto. I'm not sure if you heard of Koto. Does a mixture of samples and synthesizer stuff. A bit more complex than Michael Girard, or Michael Jean Girard, or whatever it's called, the French guy. And also you got Vangelis. Isn't he Turkish? I'm not sure. But he does a lot of theme music like Blade Runner. There's another good one. And he also did the theme music for what's his name? The space series, Cosmos. The Cosmos theme. It's really, really good theme. He wrote that on his synthesizer too. Well, who's the guy that did the Cosmos? The scientist. What's his name? I keep forgetting his name. It's terrible getting older. See, back in my days when my brain was like 100 times faster. I could talk in computer language better than I could in English anyway. I went to do a test at a recruitment thing. There was going to be a job for air traffic control computer technician. And I thought, oh, this could be a high pressure type job. And if you make a stuff up on the computer system, or your head could be on the roller. But yeah, they put me through a series of these tests, right? The English one I sort of got average, but the computer one I blew their charts. Basically, it was like a computer language that had to be converted into a symbol. So I read it like normal. And I was doing it so fast, and the woman thought I was getting it all wrong. When she checked, I didn't get a single one wrong, and I had almost completed all the if then else statements they had listed. She says no one's ever done that before. So your brain is really able to think logically or something. I didn't think there was anything of it, really. Unfortunately, I never got it in writing. But that's the way it goes. So I might just have to copy this one and read it out. I know people think I'm bragging and stuff, but I'm not. I'm just telling you some of my past stuff and life. And where I come from. What makes me tick. I was the one that got the computer. They didn't want to play games on it. I wanted to actually make the games on it. If you understand that, you know. And if I got hold of a game, I thought, oh, I don't like this. One game was walking around in caverns, and it was like a pick up torch or turn on torch type one, and walk 10 feet north down this tunnel, or you know, pick up clues as you went. And I thought, I might turn this into a Star Trek game. So I went and modified it all, and which would be illegal nowadays. Because of copyright, but it was a way better thing. It's like I made it into a space game instead. Klingons to the starboards, energize phases and shoot, and all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, the magazine wouldn't publish it. And back then we didn't have printers. We had this like little micro printer that sort of burnt off a layer of aluminium. Had this aluminium paint, and it would heat it up, and you know, but like a light bulb, and it would heat up and actually print out the letters just by etching off the top layer. It was crazy. It was expensive. So I printed all this off, and it was pages and pages long on this micro printer, and sent it into the UK magazine, but they never heard back from him. But I thought my game was way better. Anyway, but that's how I sort of started. I started pulling apart stuff, and then modifying it, and then making my own stuff. Okay, so on with the show. I think we've probably lost a few people by now, haven't we? Let's see. So we're talking about Terminator brains.
Read time. 4 minutes.
Get
Get PDF version. Scientists have used genome editing technology to replace a modern gene involved in neurodevelopment with its ancestor that was expressed in Neanderthal/Denisovan populations. The gene has been expressed in brain organoids to study its function. The study findings, published in the journal Science, bring us one step closer to understanding how the modern human brain has evolved. The ability to sequence ancient DNA extracted from fossils has gifted humanity with exceptional insights into the molecular biology of our ancestors. We can study what the Neanderthals and the Denisovans ate, where they lived, and how they spent their time on Earth. But wouldn't it be wonderful to take a peek inside their brains? To understand how their neuronal hardwiring compares to our own? To explore how the modern human brain has evolved into the complex and sophisticated machinery that it is today? Indeed, there have been many major advances in the field of neuroscience in the last few decades, but magicking the existence of archaic brain tissue is not one of them. Soft materials do not fossilize, so they cannot be studied.
Thanks, chicken.
But we can edit the genetic code, thanks to CRISPR-Cas9 genome editing technology. We can also model brain tissue in a laboratory dish using brain organoids, sometimes known as mini-brains, that are constructed from induced pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs. A team of scientists led by Kleber Trujillo, former researcher at the University of California, San Diego, UCSD, utilized these scientific advances to address the long-standing question, what makes us human, by exploring the role of an archaic gene in neurodevelopment. What is so special about Nova 1? There are 61 genes that differ between Homo sapiens and the Neanderthals/Denisovans. Alison Muotri, professor in the departments of pediatrics and cellular and molecular medicine at...
Well, that's interesting. 61 genes differ. It's a bit like the chimpanzee brain, isn't it? 98% similar to our DNA. Even a banana has 50% the same DNA as us. 50%. And we eat bananas. I think maybe some people in ufology have banana brains, though.
Medicine at UCSD, and corresponding author of the study, explained. For the purpose of this experiment, the scientists focused on one particular gene, NOVA1. NOVA1 is the only gene that is active in early brain development, has been previously implicated in neurological conditions, and is a master regulator in the developing nervous system, Muotri says. Such genes earn their title of master genes because they reside at the top of the gene regulation hierarchy, controlling the expression of hundreds of downstream genes via alternative splicing. The archaic form of the NOVA1 gene is different to the modern allele as it possesses a single nucleotide substitution at position 200, which results in an amino acid change of isoleucine.
You can see it again into the heavy technical stuff rather than lay terms, right? So, like I said, you can search on mini brains and robots and you can just find tons and tons of stuff on it. So, guarantee all the countries out there are working on this. If they could wire it up to a lawnmower so that it mows the bloody lawn, that would be bloody good, wouldn't it? Well, sorry about language, but yeah, that's been the whole problem is you need some sort of learning capability that you can work out the boundaries and what's different between the grass and the flowers, because you could see how berserk it could go and know when to shut down from emergency. So yeah, that could be quite useful, but yeah, imagine the Terminators of lawnmowers all started talking, communicating with each other. The attack of the lawnmower. There you go, a new script for Hollywood. Producer out there, if you're interested. Start off with them finding a stem cell and a ancient man's find, and development into lawnmowers attack. It can't be any worse than the killer shark on the airplane. Was it no, it was a killer crocodile, was it? I can't remember now. I only saw clips of it and I thought, no way am I going to waste my life 2 hours on that. There's all sorts of crazy movies that are produced. They should pay you to watch them, and they expect to make money selling it to you. There's a lot of movies like that lately. Every year, they talk about piracy, but just as well, because a lot of movies you wouldn't want to pay money for, that's for sure. So, what do you think of the new Matrix movie? Because that's sort of in this line of thinking at what we're talking about today. Where they're hooking up stuff into the back of their heads, right? And giving a virtual reality experience while they were feeding off their electrical energy. Because the robots needed to charge their batteries. So you're basically a human battery. And they just feed them nutrients, I guess, gunk. I suppose if you got the right amount of protein in a liquid and carbohydrates, right, sugar and all that, robots could grow that, sugar cane, all that sort of stuff, and protein. We're already looking at Petri, just like they're doing with the human brain here. They're growing meat in dishes, believe it or not, like steak. You can grow steak from stem cells now, fry it up and it tastes like steak. Kind of, to me, it sounds horrible. Over shooting something and then carving it up, which is also horrible, I must admit. But still, I just couldn't eat something that's been grown in a lab unless something drastic happened, or if it was like on a spaceship, maybe then you might think about it, because you'll start craving chicken and meat and stuff, you know, if you grew up in that sort of stuff. Anyway, me blabbing too much again. So we posted that one. Gradually moving through this. So yeah, that one got a wee bit deep, if people want to go deep into it. Human brain cells in a dish learn to play Pong. This is more like the one we're after. Now we're progressing. And this is also end of 21. So here you go, we're starting to progress on. Now this could be safe as long as they don't take it any further. You know, this could be, you know, until they can replicate human cell brains through silicon and stuff like that, using light, because that would be safer, I reckon. But it's kind of a bit strange that they'll take brain cells from a human and grow it into a mini brain to use in a lawnmower robot, you know, or whatever, to play ping pong. To me, it doesn't sort of, it's not right. Rather than designing the brain based on the human brain using silicon, that's more correct, right? But you still want to put controls in place. You don't want to use it for weaponization. You want to use it for good stuff. You know, you want to make nanobots with these advanced brains that can go and maybe unblock arteries and stuff, so you live longer. Which you need to if you're going to go out into space. You want to live longer. You want those humans longer life out in space before they die. 200-300 years. They already know there's a trigger in cells where we've been designed to gradually die, and they know they can turn it off. And they say you can live up to 1,000 years now. Now that's what we read in articles, science articles, years ago when I started this channel, because this channel wasn't basically based on UFOs. It was based on science and other developments, and how it sort of could link into artificial life as well as universal life, and how it all could be related. That's really basically what my channel was meant to be about. It was about discovery, connecting the dots, and trying to figure out what aliens are, and if they're real or not. So let's read out this little sucker, because this one sounds a bit more interesting. It's actually got a video for it though. Continue reading, must subscribe. Oh shit, I didn't see that. That's terrible that they do that now. Wonder if we can find new scientists. You suck. Let's see if we can find another website that's got a copy of it. And they all copy each other, don't they? So let's see if we can find the article about ping pong. Turns out living brain cells in a dish can learn the gameplay of classic little Pong faster than artificial intelligence can. Here we go. Human-induced cells grown in petri dish. So which one should we go for? There's not too many articles on it. This one looks like a full article. Here's Pong. I've actually got Pong. Pong here. Somewhere. I got slow and I got regular. Let's see. This is Pong. Remember the old Pong game? The early game consoles. You got the back going up and down either side, and you play against the computer or another person. Playing another person was more fun because they make mistakes. And also you got regular speed, or super fast, or whatever it is. I know that's regular speed, isn't it? It kind of leaves little dots on the screen though, doesn't it? Little corruptions. Hey, I did my best with it. There must have been a little patch of dots in the emanation that it looks like it wipes it out again. Goes in and raises it. Anyway, this is the Pong game, if you've not seen it before. So let's just read out this one.
Human-induced cells grown in petri dish learn to play Pong faster than AI. By DailyMail.com, December 30th, 2021 comments.
No, I haven't eaten, but I'm just sipping on some orange juice, which is full of sugar. Yeah. Monday and Tuesday is my bad days when I take these pills that make me sick, and Tuesdays I generally have all my joints aching because the pills are meant to work on arthritis, but for me, in my system, I'm using it to dull down the immune system. So it stops attacking my eyes, so they can then do operation on it, which I find out this Friday. What's the next stage? Yeah, we got a load of tomatoes off the vine now. They're fantastic if you cook them up on toast and salt and pepper with some butter. And the juice, you know, you get those half green ones, little tiny ones, and they got this little singy, sharp taste to them. I love them. Yeah, I love food. But I don't overdo it. But I gain weight quite easily. I just have to look at food to gain weight. But yeah, it's probably because I'm diabetic and I take insulin, and insulin affects some people where they always put on weight. It's crazy. Even if it ends up being like a couple of kilos a year, it's hard to get rid of that. Anyway, we're reading out this.
View as print mobile app share. Send by email share on Reddit share on StumbleUpon share on Hacker News share on Twitter share on Facebook.
Hey, I saw that shit.
Cultures were embedded in a simulated game world that mimicked the Pong arcade game. Credit, MZTV. Researchers at Cortical Labs in Australia demonstrated that human-induced neurons grown in a petri dish can be taught to play the retro video game Pong in only 5 minutes.
Are on it.
The dish brain system is made of brain cells grown on microelectrode arrays that can stimulate the cells. The researchers sent electrical signals either to the right or left of the array to indicate the video game ball's location, and the brain cells would fire neurons to move the paddle accordingly. Dishbrain learned the game in 10 to 15 rallies, gaming sessions that last for 15 minutes, but it takes 5,000 rallies for an artificial intelligence to learn the game.
Wow.
Using this dishbrain system, we have demonstrated that a single layer of in vitro cortical neurons can self-organize and display intelligent and sentient behavior when embodied in a simulated game world, the researchers said in their published report. From DailyMail.com, view full article. Abstracts copyright 2021 Smith-Buckland, Washington, D.C., USA.
Copyright.
No entries found.
That's it. That's it.
Sign in for full access.
I thought it was going to be more. I didn't go down. So, there you go. That's what they're doing on Petri dishes. I think that's probably what it said here too, is it? We got a YouTube video. But I don't think we'll play it because I suspect it might get us a copyright claim. Which is the other limitation factor we have when we do these type of shows. You have to get written permission. Even though it should come into fair use, right? But it's tricky. Did I put that link up before? New scientists. I bet the article's a lot longer than this, in more detail, but I suppose I won't share it. It's only a little article, isn't it? Meet the scientists connecting lab-grown mini-brains to robots. Here we go. Now already we got subscription bullshit coming up here, but at least that one's got some words. Okay, this one might be the guts of it. So, what year are we looking at now? So, they're doing it back in 2018. And this one looks like a better article. Creating a reaction. Again, it's probably going to get into the same sort of information. So what are they doing today is the question. We want to know what they're up to. One free article. We don't want one free article, we just want it all free. Read aloud.
Mind. Meet the scientists connecting lab-grown mini-brains to robots. By Lacey Schleyanov 3, 2018, 9:30 a.m. Brain organoids in a petri dish. Credit UCSD.
Look at this banner here.
Newsletter. Register or log in.
Piss off.
Related content. Scientists aren't sure how the inner voice works.
Come on. There, I want to read. Is it not going to do it for us? Oh, here we go.
Alison Muotri and his team have been toiling away in the lab for the last year and a half or so, obsessing over bland-looking, pea-sized lumps of cells. Despite their unassuming appearance, lumps like these have taken neuroscience by storm. They're lab-grown brains. Scientists call them brain organoids, and they offer rudimentary 3D models of the brain's cortex, the outer layer where complex functions like memory, language, and likely self-awareness play out, created in petri dishes from stem cells. Muotri and his team aren't the first to develop brain organoids. The models, sometimes called cerebral organoids, have been around since about 2013. But the University of California, San Diego neuroscientists' lab and collaborators have been behind several innovative uses of them in recent years. In 2016, Muotri helped author research published in Nature that utilized brain organoids to show how Zika can cause birth defects. He's also incorporated them into his work on autism. And earlier this year, he reported preliminary results from using the gene editing tool CRISPR to create Neanderthalized variations. He and his team swapped in the Neanderthal version of a gene we modern humans have called NOVA1. It's a so-called master regulator gene that can influence the expression of hundreds of others. And CRISPR-Ing, the Neanderthal equivalent into the human stem cells that evolve into organoids, resulted in brain structure that mirrored some of the differences seen in people with autism.
Yeah, we already know.
As if that last bit weren't crazy enough, recently, his group has been gunning to push brain organoids past their current state of simplicity by hooking them up to a robot that allows the 3D models to interact with the world around them.
Something new.
Past the developmental plateau. The thing to remember about cerebral organoids is that they aren't complete brains. They're very basic versions of the cortex. They don't even contain all the cell types you'd normally find in a brain, and they often lack any sort of vascular system to deliver nutrients. Though other labs are tackling that issue. They're so basic, they don't get past the 9-month mark of brain development, essentially what you'd see with a newborn. And even though having even a simple model of the human cortex to test in the lab is arguably more helpful than using animal models, that simplicity will only get you so far. The closer a model and its networks of neurons and other brain cells is to a mature human brain, the more insight researchers can gain from their experiments. At first, Muotri and his team thought the developmental plateau might have been a consequence of how they were growing the organoids. Maybe there was something in their method that needed tweaking. But then we realized that in human neurodevelopment, something similar happens, he says. When you have a newborn baby, the networks are quite immature at that stage. And they only refine and become more sophisticated as you add input and output. This is what we were missing. These brain organoids were not receiving input and output.
Yeah, that's what I was working on.
They mulled the problem over in their heads, thinking about ways they might be able to feed information into the little lumps.
And that's the starting point of how do babies learn. And I thought, well, first of all, they've got to get language, understand language, and then you can then point out objects and relate objects to words. And know what a leg is, and generally what a leg is. It's connected to a body, generalization. So I thought, how are you going to teach a computer to understand? So I said, well, first of all, let's assume that there's a certain inbuilt knowledge when they're born, somewhere in the DNA, where they pick up language very quickly from that point onwards, and then start learning. So I thought, let's start with the basics, and let's say that we can actually talk to them with English, and went from there. So they need to really teach the mini brain here English, then they can feed it inputs, but obviously they're doing it different ways, by stimulants like left and right and all that sort of business.
They considered implanting the organoids into another animal, like rats. Something other teams have already
done. So that's even scary. But adding a mini brain onto a mini rat. I can see how that could go wrong. I don't know. And then you have a 2-brain rat.
But then you already have a very complex organism in another brain that makes everything more complicated, Muotri says. Then the team thought about stimulating the organoids with neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers. But we really wanted to mimic some kind of learning experience, he says. That's when the robotic experiment came to my mind. Getting a reaction. Here's the basic setup. A cerebral organoid is hooked up to a computer that's also linked to a spider-like, 4-legged robot. The computer acts as a translator of sorts, picking up spontaneous electrical signals from the organoids. Next, based on programming from the researchers, the computer assigns a function, in this case, walk, to the signal and feeds that information to the robot. Then, the robot walks forward. The spider-like robot that Muotri and his lab are using in their organoid experiments. Credit, Muotri Lab/UC San Diego. The spider-like robot that Muotri and his lab are using in their organoid experiments. Credit, Muotri Lab/UC San Diego.
You just had that, you dumbass.
But all of this is easier said than done.
Is not very good.
None of it happens in anywhere near real time. In the beginning, the process took days.
Microsoft brain.
Now, Muotri and his team have whittled that down to about 10 seconds or so, though there's still a lot of time to shave off. I mean, milliseconds, that's where we want to get, he says. Similar to the human.
So I can see where they want to use this for good. They could program a nano a bot with a small mini brain, right? Because it's only a blob. Inject it into the veins, and then it would be trained to go and seek out blockages in the heart and stuff.
Human brain. Despite this bottleneck, their method seems to be working. They're using what are called neural oscillations, a dressed-up way of saying brainwave.
But if they put it on a four-legged spider, the next thing they'll do is put it on a drone with a camera and see if it could fly around without bumping into the walls, right? That would be the next thing to try and do, right? So it just makes you wonder if these tic-tac drones, which fly so fast that it destroys the humans inside because of the G-forces, right? That they couldn't have artificial intelligence like this, maybe suspended in fluid, so it can absorb the G-forces, right? So it just wobbles around. So maybe they are weaponizing, I mean. Not militarizing it.
Waves, to measure the organoid's maturity. Neural oscillations are repetitions of certain electrical activity in the brain that happen at different frequencies, and researchers often use a tool called electroencephalogram, EEG, to measure them. Initially, the team was seeing oscillations at a rate of about 3,000 spikes per minute on EEG readouts, typical of regular neuron cultures and roughly on par with what you'd see in the very early stages of human brain development. But now, the organoid's oscillations have skyrocketed to 300,000 spikes per minute, which is what you would expect for a postnatal human brain, Muotri says. It comes as a shock to many people that we can get that level of activity. To push that development even further, the group is wrestling with getting the organoids to respond to their environment. Muotri likens it to how we pick up on things when we're babies. Looking at your mom smiles at you, you smile back, he says. You receive some sort of reward mechanism. Or you start walking, and you realize that you need to have some kind of balance, and you refine your network to achieve that. That's what they're going for with their organoid computer robot setup.
Yep,
he says the goal is to engineer situations where the networks have to rearrange somehow and the organoid makes the robot walk backward rather than forward. Though they're still sorting out how to accomplish this, and are pushing to have it hammered out by next fall, Muotri and his lab have even more long-term goals for their approach.
Yeah, what they do it now, though. Ethical. Yeah, exactly.
Approach. Ethical unknowns. Eventually, they plan to tie all of this research, which is yet to be published, into work they've done to create Neanderthalized brain organoids and versions meant to serve as models of neurological conditions like autism. The hope is to use their robot platform to compare these different types of organoids with each other and with a typical organoid, to see how they differ developmentally. It's ambitious work, as so much research surrounding organoids is.
Yeah,
And, as with other experiments utilizing this promising new type of brain model, it's treading into unknown ethical territory. If these were liver organoids or gut organoids, I don't think anybody would be concerned, says In-Soo Hyun, a bioethicist at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland who isn't involved in Muotri's work. But cerebral organoids bring some big ethical questions to the table, specifically because researchers have a pretty good hunch that the cortex, the area of the brain that organoids represent, is key to self-awareness.
That's another factor.
Normally, growing a brain organoid in the lab means the model is basically a disembodied brain-like thing, Hyun says. He likens it to a sensory deprivation chamber where there are no signals coming in and none going out. But if you have signals that are coming into it, and you're doing experiments to see how it reacts to stimuli, then you might be starting to give it a little bit of the necessary support it might need to develop some kind of awareness.
And then hook it into the internet.
And that potential for consciousness, to whatever degree it may manifest, makes it difficult to decide what the most ethical approach is to using cerebral organoids.
See, I could see how they could do a self-learning hacking system with this as well. And makes you wonder if other countries are thinking about that too, where it could self-learn all the hacking techniques and apply it non-stop faster than any human hacker could do, and break into systems, even compromise systems, right? Take it over. Especially if they started using similar type technology in chips, right? I wonder how they would do it though, with a silicon chip, with a little brain on top, a little globe maybe with fluid. How would you keep it alive though? Because you got to feed the cells nutrients, some sort of liquid. Yeah, it makes you wonder. Makes your mind boggle, this stuff.
Organoids. It's similar to the concerns that are popping up around AI and the potential of machine consciousness. Muotri, too, has been grappling with these issues and how the public will react, collaborating with ethicists to get their take on the direction his lab is pushing brain organoid technology. So far, he says the experts he's spoken with don't seem too concerned. They are less worried than I would imagine, he says. I would have thought that the public would have a different perception, that these are live, organic networks that are now connected to machines and might dominate the world. But they think that the public will not see that. And I'm unsure.
So.
I don't know.
No.
Brain structure and function. One free article left.
Thank you very
more?
much, you scumbags. Oh yeah, so we got to the end of it. What was it? Discovery. All these people trying to make money out of articles. I mean, they should be sharing us kind of information, not suppressing it. I was trying to paste it. Like I said, just go and do your own research on this stuff. This is really quick and dirty, what I did here today. So it wasn't organised very well. But like I said, you can find lots of information. Many brains. Let's see if anything on weaponization. Many brains. Weaponize. Probably come up with drone, probably. Lab-grown brains can now mimic the neuro something. Scientists grow mini brain on the move that can contract muscles now. There you go. That was 2019. So they progressed on. Miniature brains grow in the lab have human-like neuroactivity. Okay. That we know. Brainwaves detected in many brains grow in dish. There you go. We've got brainwaves now. Many brains grown in the lab are helping. Okay, that's what we want to hear. 2020. Like I said, you can find lots of stuff on this. Once you know a bit about it, of course. Right, it's going to be a video. It's going to be a video to convince you that science is good in this field. So yeah, you could do a search there and watch that yourself, I suppose. Brain genos, neuro ethics, yes, and animals. Play Pong, there's that article, another article there. Wonder if that's longer than the one we had. Let's have a quick look. But anyway, we should move on to other stuff now. This is just a catch-up introduction into AI and what they're doing now. Oh yeah, that article. There we go, look. There's a proper one where you can read it all out without having to pay. And that goes into big... Does the animal source type matter? So they talked about lots of other stuff, like this goes on and on and on. There. Wow, there's a good article. So I'll just post that one there. Pong. Was it not pasting it? Here we go. That one looks like a really good article, easy to read too. Does size matter? Why mini brains? Why not super brains? Super big as a house. Yeah, anything's possible. But these brains would become more clever than us, I reckon. We're all limited by our DNA and our strengths, right? I might not be very good at English, but I'm very good at science. You know, well, computer languages, right? And hopefully video analysis as well. Because all that there is all to do with pattern recognition and looking for signatures in videos, how things move and all that sort of stuff. Now let's just go down the list. I put weaponized in, didn't I? And I haven't seen anything talking about making it into Terminators, but I think it's on here. Here we go, killer drones. That's closer to it, isn't it? And that's a 2019 article. As it continues to be weaponized, AA could prove a formidable threat. A swarm of 13 homemade drones carrying small submissions to attack. Now, there's a story. An old ex-friend of mine, he was an inventor. He went to the police and asked for documentation on what you can do with drones and what sort of things you can mount on drones, like guns. And they said they'd get back to him. The next 5 in the morning, he is raided in this house by the SWAT team. Handcuffed him to his bed and all this sort of stuff, and they said, where's this weaponized drone that you're building? So he was only after information. I don't know if he had a drone, but he had RC helicopters. He wanted to put a what you call a railgun onto a drone, and just fire pellets from it and stuff like that and see if it was allowed to be done. That's all he wanted to know. But yeah, looks like the police station misinterpreted, or they weren't sure about this guy, and did a raid on him. I thought, crikey. That's just extreme, that is. It's more interesting stuff in my life history and the people that I come across, and super intelligent people, but can be a bit freaky as well, what they can do. This guy was like an explosive expert, might add, and he was a sniper. Ex-sniper in the army, territorials, not the full army, but the territorials, which is like a homegrown backup army, I think. Although I'm not too sure on that. And also, he was a advisor for some of the New Zealand movies where they used explosives. So they probably had all that information on his file. And when he was asking about using drones and guns, yeah, bound to be put under the microscope, wouldn't he? But sometimes it just shows you, even if you put that on the email, you're talking about it on an email with someone on a forum, you could get raided because they think you use a terror cell, right, or whatever. Oh, here you go. 2017, before the mini brains. ISIL is now using weaponized drones in Middle East. Now, we put in that up there, so has it actually got artificial intelligence? So it looks like they did put guns on drones then. Let's have a look. Oh, there you go. And that looks like one of those fake UFOs on the moon that Tyler put on. It was that shape. So they're building it in the basement. You can see here, and just putting bombs and explosives on it and just fly it through a window. Scary stuff, I tell you. Female organ industry. Now we're getting to some dark stuff here. And octopus brains save humanity. Says now we're getting to something else here. The weaponization of artificial intelligence has begun. So let's have a look at this one about the octopus. Octopus with explosive and guns mounted to it. Okay. Humans are the most relentless and oblivious killers on Earth. No wonder the alien greys like us so much. Nope. And why they come at night time and drug us. Because we're dangerous. We are. Okay, so just give them this one because I think this might go against some of Google's terms about not scaring people. Not talking about guns and weapons and all that sort of stuff. Octopus, so whereabouts does it talk about that? So like I said, you never know what you're going to find doing searches in real time. And this is why we call these like live research episodes, your live debunk episodes or whatever, you know. We just don't know what direction it's going to head. Where's the find command? Just find. Find. Where's find? Here we go. Okay, we've got a few references here. Here there is another way, one in which an octopus can be a model for developing a reliable functioning of AI intelligence. Rise in the autonomous systems. I think this one obviously goes a bit deep, does it? Perhaps there's another way. Let's just consider refining, designing neural nets to reflect not in a centralized vertebrate human brain as for the focus today, but the helopod octopus. Octopus has evolved because they said the octopus DNA is like different to the normal DNA on Earth, like it was like an alien. It could be from panspermia, of course. We don't know, do we? The octopus has evolved with much larger nervous systems and greater cognitive complexity, and is perhaps closest to an artificial alien species, which uses and implements a distributed, decentralized system. So it uses peer-to-peer, doesn't use a central computer. This is perhaps central to the argument that as we move towards developing a decentralized economy, everything has to be centralized as government controls it. Does this approach to artificial intelligence driven anomalous systems make better sense for the future. So there you go. They're using the octopus now for development. But there was the thing about the octopus being different DNA. Let's see. Can't remember that story a few years ago. Oh, what happened there? Oh, right, I've cut and pasted it again. Okay, alien DNA, isn't it? Let's see what comes up. Trend in science. 2 octopuses come from outer space. There you go. That was, what year was that one? 2019? All around about this time with mini brains, right? And that might be why this thing come up. Scientific paper claims that these wondrously smart undersea animals are actually aliens brought to Earth by meteors. Wouldn't it be a meteorite though if it crashes into the sea? Because that's normally you put I on the end when it crashes. Admit it. If you read this far, you're intrigued, aren't you? Of course. But wait, let's get better from here. How about frozen octopus eggs riding a meteor in Earth 540 million years ago? A paper published in the journal Progress in Biophysics and Biology looked into the origins of life here on our planet. A team of no less than 33 scientists explored several theories. The one that catches the eye is cephalopods, namely squid, octopus, and cuttlefish. Many may have originated from somewhere else other than Earth. So there you go, panspermia, you've heard about that. So yeah, now they're trying to convert the octopus into a killing machine, a drone. So yeah, we keep an eye on that one. I call it fishy. Fishy science. Anyway, we better get on and do some other stuff though. What have we got to look at to debunk? That's probably a bit out there by now, is there? Before I lose my energy level. I see we scared a few people off though, but I suppose it might be late where they are. We got a deleted message. What happened there? Joshua, how's it going? Check out this Reddit post. Alright, you're not allowed to troll here. Article to show you. First of all, join our Discord group and show us there, and then we'll work out whether you can show us on here. Frightened, really? Okay, so who's with us still? So what do you want to do, guys? You want to wrap it up now, or do you want to carry on? I think we'll carry on. There's another one that I missed. 2019 as well, is it? But yeah, we've done enough of that one. Like I said, you can find lots of articles on it. So now you know about it through the Out There channel. And then we got that one there. Scientists develop mini brains to help robots recognize pain and to do self-repair. Now that sounds scary too, doesn't it? Yeah, you can see where that could go wrong. I'll just post that link too, because that's quite interesting. We can't go over everything, can we, today? Because they keep repeating as well. Robots self-repair. Doesn't that sound like the Terminator? Dum dum da dum. I've actually got that music, haven't I, on one of my emanations. Oh, right, that's right. I played that. I played that Terminator music. UFO 1. UFO 2. Oh, right. UFO 2. We'll do that one. I think it plays the music. There we go. And that's the UFO coming, guys. Gonna sap you on the side chats. That could be a Russian one, though. It's got nuclear laser beam. Doesn't look very steady, though. Ouch, that's got a hit. Oh. There goes Susie. Blue chicken is roasted. And Michael King. Yeah, he caught it on fire there. Normally I'd do that if there was a lot of trolls in the side chat, and that sort of emanation I did. And I did got UFO 1, which blows up the corner thing where Robert was. When he was being a toad, sometimes I'd shoot him with it. But anyway, I think people have lost their sense of humour a wee bit, though, and take it a wee bit too serious. We're only used to swear a lot, you know. We got this one here. So I've had the alien swearing, right? I did the rhino one. That was my first emanation to add to it. Pooey mouth. But if you've been with me for a while, you would have seen these emanations being developed as we went on. Oh, this is funny, this one. This one here, Fake News Live. I thought... Yeah, goof on, fake news. Yeah, this sounds good, mates. Oh, this is really funny. He has open lines, right? And instead of muting the guy, he just sits there hoping the guy's going to figure it out. Instead of muting it so it doesn't echo, and say, oh, this is what you do. Make sure you mute YouTube. Nope, he just sits there. This is funny. This is just funny. We just got to play this clip of goof on.
You don't have to join. You don't even have to show your face. We prefer if you do. If you can't, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But if you have something you want to say about Greer dropping that tonight, again, 10 months later, but on his channel, which ties in perfectly with what's going on in the world.
Greer's got a new documentary coming out, and I think it's working with Thirdphase again. I thought, oh dear. They're all trying to make money still, and it's all about bad aliens, good aliens, and all that sort of stuff, right?
It seems like they are... oh, we got somebody? Star Galactic Federation.
So this is why I think people watch Goof on, because he is funny when he does stuff like this.
Who's this guy? Let's see. They are... oh, we got somebody? Star Galactic Federation? Oh, who's this guy? Let's see. They are... oh, we got somebody? Star Galactic Federation?
Mutants, Mike,
who's
silly.
this guy? Let's see. They are.
This cracked me up when I saw it.
Oh, we got somebody? Star Galactic Federation? Who's this guy? Let's see. They
Come on,
are,
Goof on, get it together.
Oh, we got somebody? Star Galactic Federation?
It's so funny. And if he did stuff like this and
Did you get
stopped
that
being a
worked out
UFO
now?
channel, it would be funny.
Mr. Echo Chamber?
No, you haven't given instructions
Stop
how
it.
to solve
Did
it.
you get that worked out now? No, he didn't.
Mr. Echo Chamber?
Star Galactic Federation, you need to fix the echo. It's not
Stop
on my
it.
end.
Did you get
Tell him how to
No,
do it
it's
then.
actually repeating over and over.
He's got to mute YouTube.
What's up, Dorothy?
Yeah,
Hi
I
there,
thought that was
Rich.
hilarious.
How you doing?
Dorothy's his number 1 fan anyway. He gets a lot of donations, maybe because he does stupid stuff like that. It's hilarious though, I thought. And we got old Mick West. What was this one? Butt stuff. So this is another UFO channel. That one time I was abducted by aliens, which is a long name for a channel. And they got him on there, showing him TikTok videos and debunking them. And really, they should be able to debunk them themselves. They're so silly, but we might just skim along it and actually just play a few of it. Yeah, I thought you'd find that funny too, Michael. You got to remember that guy attacked me viciously after when I corrected his mistake with balloons. He wouldn't accept it. He was saying that my balloons only went to 3,000 feet, and then he changed it to 7, then 10,000, and he kept changing it all the time. I said, look, just look up the science pages of the latest tests, and they're saying it go up to 26,000 feet, which is plane level, you know, the lowest level planes get contrails with, actually. So, yeah, Mick West, why is it so big here, though? Okay, so just the intro's quite funny. They do this intro with Mick West, so I'll just play it. I won't play the music because I don't know if it's copyrighted and all that sort of stuff. Mick West's kind of like them, I guess. They're a really small channel, less than 1,000. Why is it not skimming though? Here we go. It'd be better with the music though. Okay. Looks like they had a really long intro. I'll just be patient, I guess. Because it's really hard to scroll that 14 seconds away. Mick West is enjoying the great outdoors. UFO. Stupid birds. Excuse me, what? Nah, that's just another seagull. Suddenly seagulls take over Mick's view. F off, will ya? And so they're taking the mickey out of that bird gimbal one, is it? Go fast, I mean. Where he said it was most likely a bird to start with and then changed it to a balloon. Or a drone. I'm not seeing this. They're coming to show you something crazier. UFOs are birds. Haven't heard birds aren't real. Was it the end of it? They spend a bit of time on the emanations. Yes, I'm real. Let's go. Have fun in the multiverse. Haha. No, that's a bit long, isn't it? And this isn't possible. So basically Mick West dropped out a bum. So the multiverse sucked him up and stuck him out a bum. I didn't win a golden probe. That's called logic. Alright, Mick, then let's get to work. Global probe for the worst debunker, is it?
That was
Best
perfect. You know what?
That was awesome.
Mick West can never say that he's never been on a UFO because he's now officially been on a UFO.
Right?
Yeah.
It's on the internet. It's real.
Virtually. It's in the metaverse.
Exactly. Mick, we are so excited to have you here today. You've been in our chat once before when we first started. You popped in and you were on the Golden Probes with us. You won. But this is your first time actually like having a show and sitting down with us. So welcome.
I'm glad to be here. It's,
Yeah, let's skim it on a wee bit. So let's start showing them videos like this one here. So what do you think this is? I think, isn't it Thirdphase just started putting this one stupid one up? But it's fairly obvious what it is.
It's good to get more information on it, but I'm already... This is... Okay. I already know.
Alright.
Okay, can you see it? It looks like it's reflecting the sun. So it's something that's highly reflective off in the distance, right? So what's it going to be? A house, a solar farm. We know solar farms do that, especially over in America, and the planes are flying past them all the time. And they can see it from California, Las Vegas, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so this one I've seen before, and I kind of got a fairly good idea what it is. Like they're on a mountain, they're looking down into the valley, and you see there's like a bunch of like little houses and things around them. Well, not around them, but down in the valley floor. And I think all that's happening is that there's something down there that happens to just be reflecting the sun in their direction, like there's some solar.
And they got a three-sided iris in the camera because it's got the core bell.
Panels on the roof of the house or something like that.
I agree with you. The first thing I was
going
going to say is that's a solar panel. So I live in Vegas and we have tons of solar panel fields, and that's exactly what they look like from far away.
Yeah, and I geolocated it. I found exactly where it was, and I went down, and there is actually like a Google Street View. You can do a little Google Street View, even though it's in the middle of nowhere. You can actually go down. And so I was trying to peek around trees and things, trying to figure out what it was because it was off to the side or something. But
so was it flickering, guys? Was it flickering? It's called atmospherics, right? So when you see this guy zoom back out, you can see he must have a really good telephoto lens on it. That does at least times 30.
It's probably just something like solar panels, and it's a triangle shape there, just like Jeremy Corbell's green triangle, because of it's out of focus. It's the bokeh effect.
Well, actually, it's also a three-sided bladed iris.
The aperture of the camera is making it into a triangle. So this you can't tell exactly what it is.
Look, he's zooming out.
But
now,
if you really wanted to figure it out, you could drive down to wherever it is. It's in like
ends up being less than a single pixel. Look, and he's got it filming. How'd they do it on this phone? They must have like 30 times zoom with a clip-on lens or something.
Paraguay or somewhere. But it's
look, you can't see it now.
Yourselves, yeah.
Okay, that's quite a good one. But we'll see if anyone else uses that one. Let's just move on. And then we got dots in the sky one.
Stars and satellites and stuff, because those are the tools you should be using first.
Yeah, so these ones often turn out to be bats, and of course they can see infrared beam being shone at them, and they change directions.
Pull out to look for those things, because that's what really starts to narrow it down to that unidentified
But it'd probably end up being a plane, and they're annoying it with a normal laser rather than using an infrared one, which the pilots don't see.
stuff. Because if it could just possibly be a satellite, why bring it to people's attention?
Or a
You know what I
plane.
mean?
Or a plane, yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why I do my new Skywatch series, showing you how you can document it properly. You can record your screen that you're seeing all the views on, and you know your cameras are writing it to the SD cards as well. And this keeps the satellites and the planes tracking all on the same screen, which is the way it should be done. And you can always scroll back then and review it.
No, there's and this, it looks like it's moving slowly across the sky, which is what satellites do. You see
Yep.
satellites, you see the ISS go
Absolutely.
over. It takes a few minutes to go from one horizon to the other. Planes similarly, and if it's a very high altitude plane, possibly, or
Yeah.
it could be even I mean, I guess it was in real time. You can see the guy with.
Okay, you can see that he's never done this sort of thing before. He goes on a show and debunks things in real time, like I was doing. But he's not doing anything different than I don't do, right?
Which is the brightest star in the sky.
Yeah, so someone's filming a dot in the sky, really boring. Could be a planet, could be a star, could be a distant light on a mountain range, and that sort of thing, or a plane even, you know. And he's saying when they zoom in, it looks like
And
a
so you
planet.
can see the
though.
scintillation a lot more. It's probably low, close to.
So he's saying this is like a star low to the horizon, so you get a lot of red colour in it.
horizon.
But I'm not too sure if he's correct there. Where's a close-up of that
Because
one?
you've got rising hot air, and so light takes various different paths to get to your eyes, and different colours. Light gets bent a different amount, so you get these flickering colours. Especially with the brighter stars. And that it looks like it's kind of stretching out there, but that's just the camera moving around. It's just like a little bit, I think, of motion blur, probably from the image stabilization. The image stabilization kind of doesn't realize.
We didn't actually
close to
see
the
it close up
horizon.
though, did we?
Sure, people who get cameras like this, or they modify cameras, and they look at it's just really boosting the levels of it.
Bionics. It looks pretty heavy.
That's what really starts to narrow it down.
Bionics.
Sure, people who they're looking for.
Looks like we can't get the pin
Stranger Things.
location of it exactly.
Especially
But it looked just like.
it's called the autokinetic effect. You can look it up on Wikipedia.
I'm writing
it's,
down things
if
I've
you
never-
have, you can
likes-
fly at night.
He likes using his,
Yeah, I think-
he likes using all these big words rather than keeping it to lay terms. He's got really good English though, but he is an English person. He grew up in a school that only taught English. Didn't move around countries like I did. So yeah, I think that's about as far as I got, and I thought, well, stuff this. As soon as I got to this one here, I thought, well, that's enough for me. I think it's this one.
Or is it something that's far away? Now, if it's far away, then that means it's moving incredibly fast. You're probably breaking the sound.
Here we go. That one was
Motion.
it.
They didn't know they caught it.
I thought, no, it's just too basic, you know, compared to what I do. Yeah, it's this one here, was it? One of them anyway. Got to the end, I thought, well, stuff this. It's the same as what Thirdphase are putting up. Speaking of which, we should have a look, shouldn't we? So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting, that Mick West thing, so I thought I'd just show bits of it from that channel. hopefully they don't end up being another third phase of the moon though, and actually do debunk it properly. See, that's one thing third phase of the moon never do though, is they never consult a proper debunker, right? That would make them more credible, but they don't bother doing that. But I don't know if a debunker would go on their show just to correct them, because they're making money from it. When they should be putting up everything as UFOs. Normally you look at a video first and decide, oh, that's a really good UFO find, let's put that one and present it. What they do is they just put up anything. They don't even use it like a training exercise to teach people, right? Has Secure Team put up anything overnight? It's been a bit slack again. No. He's overworked, guys. He's so tired. I feel sorry for the people that follow him. Yeah, so we got Thirdphase just to have a look at, I suppose, is it? Let's have a look at Scott first. See what silly debunks have come out since we last checked. I managed to log in eventually. I'm not sure how I managed to do it, but eventually I managed to log in. But now that means if I go to Secure Team's page, Twitter page, I won't be able to read it out because I'll be blocked. Yeah, so it's talking about all these war ones coming out with Ukraine at the moment. Hoax promoters and UFO grifters. I wonder who that could be. Thirdphase claiming that there was UFOs over Fukushima nuclear plants. Okay, I remember this one too. That was boats out to sea, wasn't it? We can't see the horizon. This is on a camera far away on a mountain or whatever, high rise. And these were actually a shipping lane. Yeah, I remember that one. Here we go, Thirdphase. Here's a clip published in the latest video by Thirdphase, which we haven't looked at yet. Without giving any information about it, here's an old fake already debunked in 2018. It was made by CGI. You remember how they say they don't want to put CGI on their site? We'll play some of it. So what's this one here? I don't remember seeing this one though.
Very closely.
Yeah, I remember this one. Obvious a CGI fake, right?
Of speed. Again, let's watch this.
The thing is, we're getting atmospherics here, and yet this thing that's flying out doesn't seem to have any distortion, right?
Very closely, guys. I want to get your opinions. We got a lot.
So let's go to the Thirdphase. We'll come back to him. Let's have a laugh at Thirdphase bullshit. Oh god, look at this thing. Okay, so we'll start with the latest one and find that clip, I guess. Oh, that can't be the latest. Oh, yes, this.
The object seems to leave.
Okay, when they start talking about it, let's hear their bullshit. Oh, they're playing the guitar crazy.
Are you guys seeing?
Yeah, we're hearing that racket.
What I'm seeing here, we're gonna look over this very closely, as whatever this object seems to leave the surface of the moon at great velocities of speed.
And yet the whole picture's wobbling and that object
guys,
isn't.
I want to get your opinions. We got a lot of UFO videos tonight, so buckle up. And we're reading the comments as we share this in this live premiere. I'm trying to wrap my head around what this could be. We're all going to speculate, but at this moment, could it be possibly some kind of secret Space Force program? Something that is in with our assets, but the public doesn't know what it is due to maybe national security. Brent, what's your thoughts?
This is odd. Like I said, Scott said it was 2018. And I remember seeing it back then, even then. And now they're recycling. So they're running out of material and they're recycling it as new, right? They haven't said, "Oh, we played this 3 years ago," because they certainly did. I think it's disgusting that they can keep profiting off the same fake video all the time. And I'm not logged in to dislike it, but yeah. What they say here about Thirdphase. Worldwide phenomenon, but you guys have brought to the viewers' attention this morning is amazing. Come on, how long you been in ufology? If you're in 2018, you would have already seen this clip. So this is the crappy minds. I think that mini brain has more intelligence than some of these posters, right? The UFO over the nuclear power plant wasn't that over Chernobyl. I already talked about that being debunked. The first video UFO coming out, the crater of the moon, is amazing. This is one of the best videos published by Thirdphase. These guys are on fire this week. Great videos. Oh God. Thank you, cousin brothers, for getting the information to us so quickly. They can make up fake news and have it to you within hours. I would very much like to hear more about the locations. You ain't going to get dates and locations, especially if it's a CGI artist. The first one could be something in our atmosphere. Yeah, it could be. Like a balloon. Go to admire the cousin brothers' many years of hard work. Hard work. Come on, this is just hilarious. They wouldn't have done the hard day's work in their life, apart from dig their backyard for bottles, right? That's probably the most hard work they've ever done. And of course, muck around with their camera and try to be film producers. There's no doubt your aim is true. Idiot. The aim is about getting money out of users. The grifters. Nuclear power plant one couldn't simply be a helicopter. We'll probably come to that and have a re-look of it. These guys are real. Sorry I missed the live stream. Great set of videos. Okay, I can't take any more. Okay, let's just keep on going.
Here. This is wild, Blake. You can see the person pulling on
Is that
this
loud
has a
enough,
really
you
good
guys?
shot of the moon, and you can see the atmospheric disturbance from
Looks
Earth.
like it.
So what I'm looking at here looks really legit. What is this?
You gotta remember, these guys created CGI fakes for many, many years. And models, of course, on strings and stuff. And used, what do you call it? A chroma key to blend the backgrounds in.
Thing shooting out of the crater of the moon there. This is
And you'd think they'd be
footage, to
video
say the
experts,
least.
you know.
This thing is moving
You saw how
so
quick I was
fast
to
away from the
say
moon.
what
It's moving
problems
faster than
I saw straight away with
hypersonic
it.
speeds. What in the world is this? Is this something otherworldly or one of ours?
And I think maybe there'll be a tracking error in there,
Big
probably.
question. I'm super pumped tonight. We got so many UFOs, and we're just getting started with this one, Blake. This is awesome stuff. Absolutely, it is, Brandon. Let me tell you, disclosure is coming in from the public. This isn't NASA footage. This is captured from amateur astronomer having their telescope peeled
CGI artists, guys, you've been conned again.
to the moon, possibly looking for anomalies or just gazing at the lunar surface, and it so happens to capture an anomaly. Now, let's get to this one. Watch.
Okay, so what we're watching. Okay, so we've got a plane at 30-something thousand feet, my guess. We've seen these ones before, where you get low cloud cover. Mostly could even be a fog, what you call foggy, around low ground, and it's actually a smokestack from one of the factories, right? And that would be like a plume of smoke. It looks like a plane contrail too. I suppose it's possible that there's a plane flying away from us. Let's see, can we zoom in more? Can we see the two contrails? You see, you can't. To me, that would be like a steam from a factory. Maybe some smoke even. Like a coal. What do you call it? Power generation plant. Certainly the only thing that's visible. Before they used to have ones that looked like little men standing on the clouds. You've probably seen those ones in the past, where they had multiple smokestacks and it actually looked like legs and bodies and limbs. It looked like giants standing on top of the cloud cover. But slightly below that cloud cover is all buildings, right? It only looks like it's high up in the air. Okay, that looks like a second tape, but what we got here, you can see it's far away, so okay, they're just repeating it. Yeah, let's keep on moving. I suppose they're going to be yapping about it.
This thing, whatever it is at some distance away from this commercial airliner, and they get a really good close-up right there.
Wow.
This is a mystery, and this is a great shot of anomalies at 30,000 feet. When people pull out their cell phones, this is what people are seeing.
But the cloud's
pretty much
not.
on a
The
daily
cloud's
basis
like
around the world.
Couple hundred
the cell
feet,
phone
probably.
technology is getting really good. I gotta say, the iPhone 13 and the Samsungs, they're really stepping up. The
you
game
probably
with...
can find on quick search actually. Smokestacks. Low cloud. There we go. So they're quite high, these chimneys, to get up in the slipstream so it blows away from the city, right? But we want one which like the plane one. Let's see. Here we go. So you're looking down, but if you get that cloud cover that come over, all you'd see was that bit coming up, right? Let's keep on going. There might be something similar. Most of it's steam. But you can see they do make a lot of smoke. But you can see they've got little tiny ones too, right? There's a cooling stack for a nuclear power plant. And there we go, we've got some in cloud. Is it? Looking from down on the plane. And there's one there, look, that's pretty cool. Still not the right angle though. Keep looking, there might be something pop up in a minute. Didn't realise there'd be so many smokestack pictures on Google Images, but yeah, just goes to show people like taking pictures of this stuff. Might need to read to find, and you can see the smokestacks here making artificial clouds. And all this would reflect heat out into space, right? You know, you talk about closing down the pollution on Earth. Well, that's only going to make the planet hotter, because all this here obviously acts as a artificial cloud that reflects a lot of the solar energy back into space. So, just like the plane contrails, as soon as you ground all the planes, what happened? We had a heat wave the following year, and then that heat wave sucked up a lot of water, and created floods everywhere. And this is what happened with this climate change idea, I reckon. Wait and see. You'll say, well, Paul said that. So yeah, didn't get one for a plane. Low cloud, fog maybe. Let's see what comes up with that one. Oh, here we go. And straight away you can start to see it's hiding the top of the smokestacks almost. There you go, look at this one here. You could put that on Thirdphase and say, oh, what's these cylinder UFOs? Right. Look at this one here. Is this a city in the sky, guys? You know, this sort of bullshit that we hear all the time from these channels. And yet you got goof on people saying they've changed their ways, they're good people. I can prove otherwise. Here you go, look, smokestacks. There we go, there's one. It's almost perfect. There you go, you can just see the top of the smokestack on one of them there. And that's taken from a plane at 30,000 feet. There you go, smokestack, sea of fog over. There's another one. There's another one, look. Oh, it's the same one we looked at before, damn. Some good ones here though. Here we go. That looks like theirs, but the opposite direction, doesn't it? And it's going that way. And if it's just a wee bit more foggy, that would hide it. Okay, so it's busted, isn't it? Okay, so we can move on.
With their telephoto lenses, and what this object is that seems to be protruding above the clouds with its black
See, Blake needs a good slapping, you know. Wake up, Blake.
silhouette formation is a mystery at this point to me. I really can't make out anything other than it could be.
These guys know that's a smokestack, right? They're just liars. If you lie all your life for the last 10 years on UFO channel, would you better change your ways? I don't think so. I think once you're a liar, it sort of like flows off the tongue, right? We're not looking at more smokestack. Oh no. Oh right, now we're looking at a window reflection or solar panel, right? So if it's similar to that first one we looked at with Merc, right? Well, they'll say it's a cigar UFO or something. Let's see what they say. Oh, it's next to the crane. What's he saying? Anyone understand what he's saying? Bring me a biscuit for my cup of tea. That's what it sounded like. So what is that? That could be a crane even, right? So it could be another crane.
So what was captured in the city?
And he's filming through a window, see? There you go.
Over the ocean there, and at some distance, the eyewitness zooms in to the mountainside, curious to what these bright luminescent object is. Is it a bunch of objects? Could it be some kind of solar panel reflection, or is it just levitating up there? Again, it has the eyewitness's total attention. He doesn't know what it is. Otherwise, I think if the
So, it should be on a UFO channel, should it? Unless you can debunk it being a building or reflection, or filming inside a window there and is reflecting something off the window. That's a garbage, right?
Again, I don't see any movement of this thing. Could this be just reflection, like you said, of maybe glass upon
See, look, yeah. I don't know why you're bothering these guys. They might have just sent them to me the videos and I'll do it.
Mountain itself, and it just had that perfect time where it kind of caught the people's attention where they don't see
Obviously, it's sunset or sunrise. Bang.
this all the time. Hey, if I saw this too, I would definitely film it because we don't know what it is. But still,
Yeah, of course you would. You bring it to your channel to make some money off it.
I'm leaning towards maybe something on the mountain itself. Yeah, but what kind of structure could it be, Brent? That's what I'm wondering. If this were some kind of home,
Who cares?
it would have to be massive. Again, we're just speculating here.
It's going to be a millionaires
Check
mansion
this
with
out.
great big glass windows.
Mexico 2022.
Alright, Mexico, it's bound to be a balloon or something. Okay, let's keep
Earlier
looking.
this month. What are we looking
There
at?
we go.
We're adding some brightness contrast, guys.
Okay, looks like they got tails on them. Kind of looks like balloons so far.
This is kind of interesting. You know, usually we don't just cover orbs, but I like what these things are doing in the sky. They seem to be
Okay, it's starting to look like CGI now.
There's some intelligence behind this. I don't think they're just random.
Yeah, human brain
just
faker.
There's something else going on. Could they be drones just doing some kind of aerial
Could be
display?
birds. Let's see. Birds with white bodies and black wings that are interacting with each other.
I'm not exactly sure as we
That's
again bring up the brightness
so
contrast
bad
back to the
video.
original video here.
I think they might be birds,
Some
huh?
kind of
Can we see the
tail
wings?
behind it,
They're
almost
gliding.
wisp of a tail behind the 1, 2, 3, what is it, 4 or 5 objects, Brian? What do you make of this? Yeah, it's really curious. You can see them dancing, and then they produce this kind of a shuffle, and it's weird. They seem to be in sequence. They don't look like birds. I'm ruling that out. Balloons don't make this kind of a coordinated effort.
Yeah, they do.
Right there. Look
Looks
at
like
that.
they're
That's
tilting
fantastic.
the wings, yeah.
Could it be a new technology of drones that we're not familiar with?
Drones would be last
They're
on the list
improving
here.
every day, and we're not seeing the real goods that's being hidden in
It's
private
gotta be either
corporations.
CGI.
Could this be maybe something that's being tested in the sky that we haven't seen yet? This is pretty good stuff right here. They're definitely UFOs. And
Let's see. Mexico. Do they have white birds with black wings? That's what it looks like. Mexico. Birds. White body. Looks like black wings. Pelicans or something, maybe? I don't know. Here we go. Could be one of these birds. What they're called now? I can't remember. They had a special name for them. We did cover it with a guy that used to be on the side check called Charles. He would know straight away what it was. Yeah, so this is from Mexico, is it? That one there looks promising, doesn't it? Black Hawks glided in the thermals. I have to see if it's Mexico. Hawk Eagle. Could it be seagulls? But it looked too blobby to be seagulls. Seagulls are normally pretty slim. There we go. Something like that. But it's Florida, it says, so I don't know. A kite. Certainly look like they glide around. Yeah, somehow, don't know if they're Mexico though. Identified by colour. Again, this is all about research. So what do we got here? Western grebe. There you say it. Swift. Looks too black. dove. Sandpiper. Could it be that? Need to see him flying, really. Red-footed booby. That looks like it could be a good candidate, couldn't it? Audubon Shearwater. Don't think it's that one because it hasn't got enough black on the wings and its body's too thin. Yeah, if the guy only had a optical zoom on his camera. Grey hawk. There's quite a lot of birds down there in Mexico. What's this one? Row. That's got this right size body. Whether it flies, I don't know. But yeah, not that easy. They look like geese, so could it be geese flying around? Anyway, let's just keep watching. Let me know what you think yourself out there.
Dancing around there. Very cool stuff. Yeah, and it is something that I wanted to bring up earlier. Could these be...
So what kind of birds swoop on each other? It's normally like birds of prey, right?
Tech strapped to their boots, and I would have to say probably not, because this is in the daytime. Usually they do these kind of stunts at night to obscure the parachute itself. We're not seeing any parachutes above these objects. These are actually static, but look at this, a flotilla
okay, what's this?
of UFOs over Japan.
It's a different location now. I thought we were going to get a clue then. Could that be those spiders that form those big fluffy webs?
Look at this, guys. I'm impressed with the clarity of the technology within our cell phones, because as we see the person zooms in, we're adding some brightness contrast to make these objects pop. And they remain static. Look at this. It's still photographed. These are balloons.
Zoomed
They're
in
all
enough.
kind of, in their own way, have their own shape and form. I'm trying to wrap my head around what
bits of
is
cotton.
exactly going on. I don't think they're drones.
I'd say
Could
spider
be
webs,
a
but I'm not
bunch of
sure.
balloons released. I'm not exactly sure. They're remaining quite
They
static.
don't look
in
like
the sky. They're
balloons.
not really moving in erratic motion. Again, a still photograph. And then
But
let's
it
bring
could
up
be, I
the
suppose.
video again here.
They seem to be going up and then around in the
What's your
airflow,
thoughts
don't
before we
they?
get to the next video?
Yeah, I'm looking at whatever these things are in the sky. It looks like there's 100 of them, and they're very augmented. And none of them
it could be
match
balloons,
in any
I
way.
suppose.
They're entirely different. Each one has its own
And
shape and peculiar
That
size.
one's a bit longer because it's too
In my
joined together,
opinion, I'm
probably.
ruling out drones, balloons. What we're looking at is unidentified.
Again, more video of the exact same phenomenon in
Hardly
Japan.
UFOs, though.
There's the Statue
How
of
would you
Liberty
class a
below, but
UFO?
it's
Something that
just a
stops in the
replica
sky
of
and
the
shoots off
Statue of Liberty
vertically, or
in
shoots
Japan,
down
but what's
vertically and
curious
stops
is
again and shoots off
this.
left and right.
Standing above the Liberty, you can see in this photograph, again, the flotilla of objects. We're slowing it down so we could really make it out. And again, two different locations confirming this event. That's what we love.
You're very
about
quiet in the side
ufology,
chat.
The investigation to try and find out.
I suppose I
what's
should
going
go
on
and have lunch
with the
soon
world,
as well
watching
myself.
Thirdphase Moon and the information we're getting. We're trying to triangulate the information as best as possible. So we're reaching out to Japan. If anybody else captured this phenomenon, reach out to us. Again, a replica of the Statue of Liberty. You can see the base. That's not over there in New York, but what's curious is what's standing besides Lady Liberty. Brent, what's your thoughts here?
Guy in a suit. I don't know. It's a bit hard to see. They haven't zoomed in.
Yeah, again, just finish up on this UFO sighting. I like the cooperation of different angles that match up in the same kind of sequence. You can see, again, the augmented shapes. They're not in uniform, and they seem to match over Lady Liberty and the sky over Japan as well. This is good. Now we got another UFO that was captured over Russia with a crazy UFO over a nuclear power plant. Let's take a look at this.
Okay, is it the one with the boats out to sea, is it? Oh no, this kind of looks like CGI, doesn't it? Oh yeah, look at that, just disappeared. Now there are some bugs that do that, can be on really close to the camera, that sort of have these little bursts of light reflect off them, like nits, little tiny flies. I just wonder if that's a bug. Okay, so I think we'll go back to this one. Let's see what else he said or anything. Section 51. What's that one? These CGI fakers. Don't do a Thirdphase though. Okay, that was the boats going, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was boats. Let's see, just check his video out. Just refresh my mind. It's not the same one we're looking at now, though. Here's our video daytime of the same view. That's how you can bust it on the same camera. Okay. Get rid of that silly music. Sounds like a catfish TV show. Okay, can you start to see the horizon of the sea now, can't you? Aha, they say. Okay, can you see any boats on there? A bit hard to see. Oh, there you go. So, I was correct. Keep on going. Okay, Transformers exploding. That's a good shake. Yes, I've been through that sort of thing in a high rise. It's fun. Scary as, I tell you. In Christchurch here. So these are the explosions. Oh, there we go. In the background. Ooh. So they get shorted out and the Transformers explode because they've got all of them. Okay, so they're saying the Earth lights. Nothing's actually been proven with Earth lights though. But they do have transformers on power poles that if you get shaken around, the wires cross, bang, bang, bang. So he hasn't got that one up, right? So that's as much as we're going to get from him. So yeah, at this stage, let's see, CGI or bug is the two top ones at the moment. Pretty crap video. See, it looks like it's near the stacks, but it could actually be on the camera lens.
All right, we're trying to confirm exactly what's going on, but there is a pickup of these unidentified flying objects over nuclear power plants, and the story
Okay, here's the ship
has
one.
been in the archives and the recent news across different platforms in recent encounters with the phenomenon in close proximity to these reactors. Is it
And
this
it's
interesting?
old news. It's recycled again. All that.
My opinion, this is a good close-up. You can see the shine right there as it reflects off this craft, whatever it is. It descends down
That could be a bug.
closer to the area. This is a really good still. Are we looking at CGI? Is this real? This is a big question here.
You should know, Brent. You're the one that does the CGI fakes.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to actually get a really close-up look in that video. It's pretty tricky. Again, the light is low, but I'm not seeing any deception. And with the multiple reports coming in from different sources,
Not seeing any deception, and yet we know that's a sea line out to here. And these are boats passing by.
sources across different media platforms, this is what we have to put into.
And yet they're calling them drones here, so that's deception by the newspapers. Okay, so we've got a plane, and wasn't that the presidential plane that always has a fighter jet following next to it?
Come on, guys, what is that? That is the Tic Tac.
Or a fighter jet, so you can't see the wings on. Yeah, great filming. You ain't gonna see any detail.
Close proximity to some jet airliner spewing some kind of thing, but whatever. Look at this. We track
I
on
hope I haven't
this,
got
get a
that
closer
virus,
look
but
at
it might have.
And this isn't any kind of jet escort fighter, in my opinion.
Yeah, it
this
is.
is possibly the Tic Tac. Well, it sure the hell looks like it.
Okay,
in
so
my
where's
opinion.
your flight
That's all I-
radar to tell us what plane it is? See if it's a presidential one. Or some important person in it, and that will have a fighter pilot
God, but
escort it.
we're, again, looking at this very closely, and we're happy that what we can give you is the evidence. But
Okay, so this
stop
has
here.
got contrails, and we know what altitude range it's in. It's within 25,000 or 26,000 feet, all the way up to 37 generally. So when it's fair up there, you're not going to see any wings of a smartphone being recorded in that.
Have lights on this either. No anti-collision lights whatsoever.
Hell yeah.
Remember that one I captured on the New Zealand Skywatch? That was about 80 to 100 kilometers away, and it was just like a little line going across, and I zoomed right onto it, and just managed to get down to that sort of detail there. Before the control on the Wi-Fi went crazy, whatever it was, on the camera, and couldn't quite follow it along because it was moving quite fast. So this is quite impressive how far you can actually see with your own eyes, let alone the camera. So this could easily be quite a far away from the filmer.
Blake, this is awesome. Are you guys pumped up? I sure am. Again, everybody smash that thumbs up. It helps the algorithm and catches late.
No, don't smash it, guys. Don't smash it. Break it. See, I reckon this dislike thing, not showing the counter, is just stupid. That's Google for you. Don't want to upset the people. Some of the channels out there.
Eggs in the YouTube world, so this could be shared everywhere. Thanks. Appreciate that. Now, look at this. This is amazing. We're seeing this escort following this jetliner, and it doesn't look conventional. I don't see any wings. I don't see any.
Why would aliens
emissions
tailgate
spewing out
a
of this
jumbo
little-
jet? Normally when you hear reports, it's in front of the jet, or zooming really close by it. So, you know, going zoom, yum, 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 doing crazy maneuvers. So, yeah.
Little craft adjacent, and it happens all over the world. We've got videos that can match up to the same identifying marks. Look at that thing. It just streaked right up past that craft, and it leaves no trail. Again, this looks like
that's because it's lower down and the other one's higher up. It's misleading.
And the skies seem to be so active. They seem to trail our commercial airliners. What's going on here?
People flying around in planes. You can see it's a plane. Or was it 2 planes? Yeah, let's keep on going.
Digging the archive right here that we're bringing up that has been reported.
There you go, plane.
And again,
and a plane.
And over, we see the tic-tac in close proximity to our commercial airliners, our jet pilots. Again, I believe that there's technology that has been pretty much broken through.
Using mini brains. Yeah, autopilot. We just covered a couple of hours on that. Now let's keep on going. What the hell is this? Street lights?
Alright, there's some reports going on that there's 4 lights, 4 orbs that are being called the USOs entering.
Okay, so what do you reckon to that one, guys?
Out of the ocean there.
Who's gonna guess?
Is this what it is, or could it be maybe some kind of, I don't know, an illusion? Maybe a break. Maybe there's a
Come on, Blake, do your due
side
diligence and solve it.
Might be holding a string of lights, and
so what's the string of lights, guys? What has string of lights in the sky nowadays? When I saw this, I saw straight away what it was. Come on, anyone live out there? You can do it, Michael. Oh, he's gone to sleep, I think. Who else we got? Blue Chicken. He doesn't guess at this stuff. Susan, she gone. I didn't keep up with the side chat to see who was staying and who was leaving. But yeah, that's a kite tail, right? With LEDs spread a certain distance.
Down to go up and down out of the water. Brett, what's your thoughts? Is this legit, or is this some kind of hoax?
I'm listening to the people on the ground. They seem like they're convinced. When they saw this dip into the water, everybody really got kind of excited.
Oh, yeah.
Again, could there be transmedium craft that could go in
Or
and
it could
out
be a
of
kite
water?
with
Well,
LEDs on a tail.
Showcases that.
And someone's using
to
it
prove
for
that this
water
is
surfing
the
or
real
whatever.
deal. Well, I'm looking at it and I don't see no CGI. We're seeing
Come on,
something
guys.
very strange.
You know what it is.
One thing's for sure, Brent. USOs exist, no doubt about it.
USOs,
One
no.
recently, and hopefully we could get down to the information that there's an underwater UFO that is moving faster than the speed of sound. Again, the phenomenon is real. We just got to find out exactly what it is.
And that's
now,
not it.
that being said,
That's just garbage. Okay, so what else we got? Advertising their stupid music CD. Okay, so one more video and then we can wrap up this one here. Come on, guys, let's have a look at this one. Let's see. Move it on a bit.
Tonight, including this incredible one that has just...
He's trying not to laugh. You see that?
Coming to third phase of moon moments ago.
So that's all the red flags to start with. We didn't see it. We didn't see the camera pan around anything. It's suddenly a blue sky with an object on which could easily be CGI'd. We got no clouds. We got no references to how high up it is. Is it a top of a building with the cloud cover underneath? Who knows? A bit like that last one we looked at. Is it simply a toy on a fishing line? So let's see. We'll keep having a look at. Looks a bit jerky, isn't it? We're not seeing any motion blur. Another red flag. If it's moving around like that per frame, you'd expect to see some motion blur. So straight away, I'm leaning towards it being fake
got
CGI.
The video, we've got the enhanced stills. We could see this craft, whatever it is, seems to stick out like a
Come on,
sore
Blake,
thumb.
laugh your
It
ass off.
isn't practical. Let's just put it that way. This isn't any kind of drone that I've ever seen. What is making this thing?
Well, technically, it could be a drone. It's actually got little bags of helium, maybe, like I was talking about those solid-state lifters, the last live show I did, that only Michael showed up to. So if they zoom in again...
Up in the air. What's the propulsion, the meta propulsion behind this?
Meta propulsion.
Could this be some kind of massive...
Don't know. Where's the sound? Where's the full video?
Stunt, some kind of hoax. Right now, I'm not seeing any indication of,
yeah, here we go.
Tampering with the video.
Oh.
What we're looking...
See, that looks like it could be... balloons with helium in, attached to a drone, maybe to offset weight, which I've talked about before. It kind of looks like some sort of shaft coming down there where you would have a big propeller in the middle. Could it be some experimental drone that someone's filmed? Or could it be something that clips on top of a pencil? Yeah, it looks like something you'd put on a pencil. It looks like a frog eyes. Yeah, what would it be though? Yeah, something from a sci-fi movie. Some sort of toy. Looks like they got light source over here. It's written off there and there. Looks three-dimensional. It looks like the reflection bends, so it looks like it's circular with spheres. So I don't know. I've not seen anything like that before. But alien technology, no, it's just too many red flags in this one. We could probably sharpen it. It's not even in focus here, right? You know, they're filming it. Why can't they get it in focus? There was no motion blur, which is what I didn't like.
That is legit as we're doing the enhanced stills right here. The shadows,
it's not
the
enhanced, it's still out of
lighting,
focus.
everything matches up. Whatever's in the sky is practical. We're not wanting to...
Let's just do a quick cut and paste of it. Where is our cutter gone though? And run it through some filters. Okay, it's on the other screen. What's going on here? Okay. Need to open up the folder, don't I? Didn't do that before I started. Here we go. So my arm's gonna sleep. It's telling me it's time for my body to start moving again. This thing gonna hurt more later on. Okay, we'll just get this over and done with quickly. So let's try sharpening it first. Photo. So hasn't sort of really helped as much, has it? And we can see the compression artifacts here. So that hasn't helped as much, but it does look a wee bit better than the original. Okay, let's run it through some color swapping. You see with the background, I would expect more variation in the background. Alright, that's over a sky. Okay, so we might be able to see something there now. So it's still hard to know whether that's sky or just a constant background. You'd have to analyze it per frame, see if anything changes in the background. Yes, not seeing anything that looks like mistakes, like a block, square block somewhere, or definitely looks like a real object, but it could be off a toy and just angled there with fishing wire going up here. Does seem to be some reflection there, doesn't it? Like there could be a cable that's reflecting off. Let's see. CPU playing up. Damn. Still a problem. Yep. CPU gone crazy on us. I lost the point now. Yes. Could be reflecting off something. I still think it might be a fake using static background of a sky and some toy of some kind. Don't know. I suppose you could probably try reverse image search, but I think it's not got enough detail there to be any use. Kind of looks like it could be a bug face. Using what our pareidolia brains look at. Drone. Let's try drone. Helium's balloons added to it. Someone must have mucked around with that idea, surely. And they sure have. Now what have we got here? Helium-powered drones. There you go. And that's another one. Big blue drone. Hackers launch balloon probe. That one looks like a UFO. And there we go. But it's nothing like that one in the picture. Someone's got a floating eyeball. Very spooky. What else we got? Anything remotely what we're looking at? Not really. Someone's adding a drone underneath balloons. That's strange. So, not seeing anything that I was hoping. There's some balloons with the propellers around the outside, rather than balloons added to the drone on the outside. Yeah. So we're not going to get an easy answer on this one. But obviously it's not a UFO because it's just a short clip and we don't see where it goes to. They don't pan around. We don't hear any audio. Still quite a lot. Oh, my stomach's grumbling. I better go and get something to eat. Hey, there might be something here. Just have to keep going through it all. Well, it's a good idea. Okay, so what else we got? Another balloon, is it? I'm pretty sure we've recycled this one before. I think that's a hot air balloon in Mexico. Funny shaped one that we've come across.
On a YouTube channel, Mexico, a metallic
Yeah,
flying saucer in broad daylight captured. We're sharing it with you right now. Take a look. I want to get your...
Nah, it's a hot air balloon. Okay, let's keep on going. It's a hot air balloon. You can see the shape of it there. And there's a little basket at the bottom.
We've got to watch out. Flash...
Okay, what else we got? I can't see anything. A dot in the sky. Oh, here we go. Balloon. It's like a helium one this time. Not a hot air balloon. Boring.
From the beginning. When did this happen and exactly where?
Well, it happened in December, near the center of Coyoacán. I was with my brother in his room, actually.
South America? kind of looks like someone releasing a weather balloon there. You know, the big white ones, you know. These ones here. Looks like that to me. And they have sometimes a little gadget on top of buildings that fills it up with helium and releases it from a building every so often. Often on a high-rise owned by a weather station or something like that.
He got very frightened because he saw in the window like a small dot. It was very, very strange because it was
Very
like
scary, a small dot in the window.
a black star shape. I don't know how to explain it, but it was very close.
Yeah, so... okay, so it still could be that weather balloon far away. Not weather balloon, hot air balloon. Mexican festive balloons. Well, obviously it's some sort of weather balloon. A balloon, I mean. And again. Yep. He knows what it is. We were scared of a hot air balloon. Anyway, I gotta get going now. But yeah, Mexican, or South American. What do you call it? They've got a special name for them. If there's something hanging in the sky slowly drifting around, right, it doesn't sound like it's going to be alien craft out to get you. Is it? Sounds very balloon-like. Not sure if we can find that one again, but we have come across that shape. Hot air balloon and also festive balloons. And also the year, time and date that was filmed gives us a lot of clues as well. But, yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it very quickly. Because there's all sorts of different colours and shapes and sizes of balloons, especially Mylar. So I'm just going to wrap it up there. And, what's this one?
National security concern. They're proffering a narrative.
Alright, they're advertising the new Korea documentary they're making. Okay, so we'll leave it there for today. I think we've covered quite a lot of stuff today. And thanks for joining us on the side, guys. But you could have come on voice as well if you wanted to. That makes it a wee bit better too. So, yeah. See you again in the future, I guess. With some other stuff. Probably security will be the next one to debunk. But, yeah. Hope to do some sky watching soon. Do something more interesting. You've seen my latest update to that of the build. I'll get that out the way. And we'll just do end credits now. So take care on the roads, and I'll see you maybe in a day or two time. And hope you enjoyed today's show, and all those people that watch it offline later. Hopefully you learnt something new today too. Of course, we could condense this down to probably a 10-minute video on the mini brain, I suppose. Maybe 20-minute video. And 5-minute debunks for those other ones. That's generally what you do, isn't it? But you don't learn much from that. Okay, so it's probably going to take some time to process this one. Google's been a bit slow lately. In stream.